This could be us. So back to what I was saying. Could be us.
Say please.
Could be us.
Say please.
Could be us.
Say please.
Could be us. She gotta say please.
Say please.
All right, yo, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Borito Talk podcast. I am your host, Borito, the number one CDL ESPN analyst / content creator in the world. Welcome back for another Monday episode, Borito Talk podcast, obviously on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the good stuff. And today, I am joined by the newly appointed head coach of Cloud9, Arian. How are you doing?
What's good, man? Nice to see you. Yeah, let's get into it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions to ask. There's obviously gonna be questions I forget because I forget all the time. I like to do stuff a cappella, but we're just getting to know more about you because there's probably like a lot of people that don't know your story, especially since you come from like the United Kingdom and a majority of the fan base is all North America. So it'll be interesting for the people to get to know the new mind behind Cloud9.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. Not a lot of people know me. I'm like on social media, like actively, but I mean, I don't tweet often. I don't really push content out there, but something I definitely should try and push through and get better at.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't for everybody, but honestly, it's like highly recommended. It's like it's like a nice little niche there. But even before I get into this, before I get into your origin story, I remember like a week ago on my timeline, you were doing a Discord thing for Cloud9, inviting people to ask questions about all things Cloud9. How did that go? What are some questions people asked?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just kind of had the idea of like I started off as a fan of the CDL of Call of Duty. I never competed professionally, so like one thing I want to do is try and at least connect the gap between fans and the league and players and coaches and just improve like at least C9's relationship with players as well, or with fans, sorry. And yeah, we had that little Discord discussion. It was like open for anyone to join and just ask questions, and it went pretty well. We had a lot of like super fans, I would say, would came through as well, which was really strong, because I wanted to learn about why they support C9, what really draws them to the team. We had a couple people that supported different teams to come in, and just wanted to ask them like how they or why they support other teams as well. Like, what do other teams do that you guys would like to see us do? And kind of questions that they also just had. So we just had like an open discussion, or as open as we possibly could, kind of just shooting the shit on Discord with each other. And they asked some pretty good stuff about like just how the last season went as well for us, and what it's like being in the league, and any sort of questions that they had. We did it for about 2-3 hours, and then called it a night.
That's nice.
Went pretty well.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, definitely something I'm going to try and do going forward as well once the season starts and the roster gets announced and everything. Try and bring through some of those players as well to get into there and give some time, and hopefully we can just make the connection stronger between fans and the team. That's
like, I'm actually surprised there's like a lot of people that don't do that, like other like coaches, other personnel, because that actually sounds like really cool. Is like that on like YouTube or anything? Did you like record that?
I didn't record it. I mean, we probably could record them in the future, but
that would have been great.
I quite like the idea of like be there or miss it. Like,
oh yeah, like intimate.
Because if you're talking with like people, and if you're with your boys and you're in a TeamSpeak or a Discord or whatever it is, like PlayStation party, like if you miss the moment, you miss the moment. Like you miss the night, you miss the vibes. So just come through, catch the vibe. And
I miss
the
vibes. I miss the vibes. I'm pretty sure. Like I swear I saw that and I was going to be there for it, but I think like the time, I think it was like a bit too early, and I was like, I know I work late on this day. I just like can't.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe we push the timings a little bit and switch them up.
Yeah, but that means you're probably gonna be up at like demon hours like at that point then.
It's okay. I'm used to it at this point,
Okay.
so we're all good.
Okay. But yeah, so like I have on here that you were born in England, if
Yeah.
people can't tell from the lovely accent that you have. And you're born April 14th. I don't think anyone needs to know all that stuff, but where in England were you born?
I'm born and raised in London.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I'm about like, if anyone does know London or does understand how it works, like London's like an onion. You have the center of it, which is central London, and that's where you kind of see everyone go to, or especially like the touristy spots. But then you have like the outer layers of London, which is where people live, and we call them zones. So zone 1's the right in the middle, zone 2 is the one afterwards, zone 3,
Interesting.
and it goes all the way out to I think the zone 7 or 8. Like I'm in zone 2, so I feel like I'm in London, like
Okay.
born and raised, really close to central, to where I'm like able to get down into the city, but also like where everyone normally lives, or like normal people live, because yeah, it's expensive to be in like the super city. But yeah, born and raised in London, of Iranian descent. I actually lived there for a year when I was 7 years old. And then
Okay.
came back. So a bit of like different mix and match of cultures and stuff. And yeah, I think London's the best city in the world. I'm gutted that we're going to Birmingham instead of London. I was praying for a London event.
Oh, that would. I mean, everyone's praying for like a London event. Everyone.
But Birmingham will do.
Yeah,
Birmingham will do.
it'll do. I may or may not be there for that. All depends on like logistics. But I'm definitely going to Paris. It's like
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
a good time away. And just like completely not Call of Duty related, but who do you support in terms of football? I have to know. If
I
you're
support
from
Chelsea. I'm a diehard Chelsea fan. I was born at Chelsea Hospital. I live like 20 minutes away from the stadium. I go all the time. I'm going tomorrow. Actually,
You go all the
to the
time?
game.
Oh my god. I'm not sure if you know, but
As much
that
as
is my team. That is
Okay,
my team
perfect.
too. I am a Chelsea fan since 2005. Ever since
Yeah.
I played FIFA 06, I believe, and I saw like Crespo and Good Johnson, and I was just like hooked by that team. Joe Cole,
Yeah, mine
Jose
was-
Mourinho.
I've been best friends with my best friend for about like since we were 3 or 4 years old, and like when you watch football, the only thing I knew was the England football team. So my favorite player is David Beckham of all time, and then like my best friend was like, "What football team do you support?" And I was like, "England." He's like, "But what team?" And I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "You support Chelsea now?" And I was like, "All right, cool. I support Chelsea."
Wow.
That's just how I got into it.
Wait, so like what year did you start supporting Chelsea, and like do you know?
I think that would have been like 4 or 5 years old when that would have happened.
Okay, so you were born in 2000.
I'm born in 2000, so I'm like 4 or 5. Like we're like, "You support Chelsea?" I'm like, "Okay, cool. I support Chelsea." Like originally not really knowing what it was,
Yeah.
and then when I was like 6 or 7, I kind of started to get more into the flow of it. Like at least I support this team. And I
Okay.
went to Iran for a year, came back, and I like developed a little bit and understood like what I supported.
Okay, so you're like prime John Terry.
Yeah.
Wow. What a time to be alive for that, and then
Yeah.
almost like downhill, kind of. Actually, not really, not exactly.
Yeah,
We just won the Club
we're good.
World Cup. We're good. So you were born in England. Did like your parents like move to London? Like,
Yeah.
when did your parents move to London?
Yeah, my mum moved here when she was 16. She's now in her 60s, so she's been in London for longer than she was anywhere else.
Okay.
But yeah, she moved when she was 16, so I guess that makes me, what is it, first generation or second generation?
Yeah,
I
probably.
think first generation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that's kind of how it is. But that's just how life is. I feel like if you're born like around the year that I'm born, which is like 2000, maybe 95, like most, if you have some diversity, like your parents were probably immigrants at one point.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
And I think like
100%.
London is like the melting pot of the city. It's literally just the most diverse place, other than maybe like Toronto, which is like my second favorite city to go to because it just feels like home.
Okay,
But-
so it's like your two favorite cities so happen to be in Canada.
Yeah. Toronto and Vancouver, because
Wow.
they're super diverse and super. I just love Canada. Like I think it's
Hey.
amazing.
I mean, I'm already liking you more and more already. You're a Chelsea fan, and you're a Canadian fan. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'm even like a small percentage British. I'm pretty sure that's what my mom told me a long time ago.
Don't do that.
I think that's why like I drink tea every morning. Why I only watch
Okay.
soccer. I don't do,
But you're not drinking English tea, are you?
Probably
Like, what
not.
type of tea are you drinking?
I mean, I drink like orange pekoe, green tea.
No.
Yeah, I'm a fraud, huh? I'm a fraud.
Gotta get English tea, put milk in it, sugar.
Milk in it.
and
Oh.
go. Yeah.
I've never put milk in my tea, but I have put
That's-
sugar. I put a lot of sugar, and I think a lot of people call
you
that
guys
up.
tea's sweet.
Yeah, I feel if you don't have sugar in your tea, it's just like water. It's like hot water. You're basically tasting hot water. I'm not sure if that's just
I
me.
mean, a lot of people don't over here, but yeah, milk is a guarantee. You need to have tea with milk. But
Okay.
we don't have like mint tea. If you have mint tea, you don't have milk. But with English tea, like builder's tea, we call it, like it's
Okay.
with milk.
So like any kind of milk.
Semi-skimmed or skimmed. I mean, your preference really, but yeah, milk is milk, right?
All right, I'll try it.
You can do oat milk, but usually just normal milk, like cow's milk.
Okay, I'll try it. I'll see how it is. I'll do like the milk and the thing, and
Yeah.
I'll like report back to you. I'll report back to you.
Just Google it. You'll know all about it, and then you'll go get the right stuff.
Okay. So yeah. I guess like just because like you grew up in London, I'm kind of curious like how it was like growing up in London before we get into like the Call of Duty stuff, because I'm already
Yeah.
jealous because it's like for me in Canada, growing up, you know, everyone's in like a town with sports. I have to go to hockey games. Like, whoa, so much fun. But you got to take the train and go to football games. There's Arsenal down the street, Chelsea, like every weekend. So, like, how was your growing up and schools in London? Because I actually don't know anything about like the English school system.
I mean, it won't be too dissimilar, right? Like, I think it'll be different to maybe other. I don't think there's been like a London professional in the CDL at all. Probably been a few people that live close. Actually, there probably is like maybe 3 or 5, but most of the UK players I think are like on the outskirts or in like different towns and stuff.
Yeah.
That probably has to do with where they're from and like the location. I think London has like so much to do, and there's like
Yeah.
always something going on that like when you're 18 years old, you're not inside playing games. And that's like the same thing that I did, which is like I kind of just went to school like a normal kid, like you study and whatever. I went to university, but when I went to university at 18 years old, like I didn't play games. So I played games, but I didn't compete or play like cups or anything. Like I kind of just spent time with my friends and always watched this like the CW at the time, but always watched like competitive Call of Duty. But I never like played it myself at that point. And then when I was 21 and COVID hit is when I like came back to it, and I was like, you know what, like let me dedicate a big chunk of my time to this, because what else is there to do?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it must have been hard to watch like Call of Duty from the EU, because it's like on like
Super late.
like demon hours. Like sometimes you probably have
but-
to be up to like 3-4 a.m.
But that's like we're so used to that. Like we just grew up watching Optic. We grew up watching all those big names like Scump and stuff. And whenever there was tournaments, like the EU fan base is always strong, and that's why like this Birmingham event is going to be crazy, and the tickets are selling out instantly. Like 30 seconds later, every single time they keep putting more tickets out, they're selling out because like the fan base is so dedicated to just like watching good Call of Duty. Like I have friends of mine who like messaging me like, I didn't realize it's coming back. Like I need to get tickets. I need to go. Like even if they don't watch it anymore, like they know of it. They want to be there. Like the vibe of it just feels right. And yeah, I mean, growing up in London's pretty good in terms of like schools and stuff to do. You kind of always have things to do. So yeah, I mean, the city's just popping at all times.
That sounds like what I would have liked my childhood. I mean, it was for a majority, but then, you know, after you get older, you know, you get introduced to like technology and everything. So, and also,
Yeah.
it must be like crazy that like all your friends are like fans of Call of Duty, and when this Birmingham event comes, like you're going to be like a head coach on a team. Like you're going to be like in the VIP section, you know, of
Yeah,
like
I was talking to my brother about it, who is his name is Cheek, and he's actually an analyst as well. He was with us on the LAG team.
I saw that on my
on the previous year.
Yeah.
I was talking to him about it, and we were saying like we went to CDL London as fans, and there's a picture that the CDL posted, or someone posted, and you can see me and my brother in the picture, right? And a couple of our friends have spotted that and like screenshotted it, and now it sits in group chats, etc. Like, but now it's like I went to the last London event as a fan, and I'm going to the next UK event as the head coach on the stage, and that's pretty surreal when you think about it, and like how quickly time developed and how quickly things changed.
That's crazy. Do you think if like you build up enough like I'm not sure if like PR is like the word, that like just
Right.
because of you could get like everyone behind Cloud9, because it's like Coach Arian is like from this area, you know?
Nah, I don't think like people just won't know who I am, and that's fine. That's fine. Like it shouldn't really be a thing of like chant for me because I'm the coach of the team. Like
I know, but like because of you, like, you know, like association, like he's on that
hopefully,
team. Yeah.
I mean, hopefully my friends turn out, and hopefully they can get some good stuff going.
You
and
gotta
then
bring
it
the
will just
whole
grow from there.
You gotta bring the whole crew, man. You gotta get the whole crew on that, man.
Yeah, but everyone works, right? So you got to be able to make sure they can make it there for the weekend or something, like if they're busy and stuff. But so far, it seems like we'll have some good friends and stuff, and it'll be pretty cool because like none of my friends or even my family have ever like been to an event. They don't really understand it, so being able to kind of bring my family and friends to the event and be like, this is what it is, makes sense. I mean, my mom still like talks to people like family friends and she says I work for PlayStation. Like that's how she describes what I do.
Yeah.
So it'll be pretty cool to let them like come to the event, bring them over, and let them see like what it is that we're really investing so much time in, and what we've turned into a career.
That is like so heartwarming, and it's gonna be crazy too. It's not gonna be like a North American, you know, show up to Ohio, you know, like they may get ready for Optic and that's it. Like they're gonna show up, and like this event is gonna be like popping, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, like this is what Arian does. This is literally insane.
Yeah,
that's gonna be
literally.
Wow, that's like, you know, like just now hearing that story, you know, like I actually might be a Cloud9 fan now, you know. I might be a Cloud9 like
that's how it starts.
I'm gonna support you just for that major. Like that major, like I hope you guys make it all the way to the grand finals for that major, man.
Yeah, we will. I'm sure we'll do it.
Let's go. So like you said, growing up you like watched like you watched this EWL, but what was like the first Call of Duty like you found out about and played?
Right, so I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying this, and maybe my brother would know better than me, but I'm pretty sure my first memory is when I was like maybe 10 or 9, and I got whenever MW2 came out, and somebody gave it to me as a birthday present. So it would have been late in the year, because the game comes out like November. I guess I'm born in April, so a couple months later than when it came out. And I got gifted MW2, and we played it. And I remember just being obsessed with Capture the Flag, and like we'd play it all the time. I had an Xbox. My mom wouldn't let me get online, but back then, like, you used to have 2-day free trials, like in the little like slits of the game. So all my friends would give me their 2-day trial codes, and I'd be able to play. We were like obsessed with it, and we had one Xbox between two of us. MW2, you couldn't split screen, so our gamer tag was Ari to Ash, because that's my brother's name, Ash. It was like Ari handing the controller over to Ash. And we were like just obsessed. We played it all the time. Then Black Ops 1 comes out, and we got obsessed with zombies. And that's what I remember. But I remember going back to like World at War and MW, because it was super cheap, like at the time in a game store, and we just played them all. So that's my first memory of like playing Call of Duty. And that's really like all I ever played. It was Call of Duty, FIFA, and whatever like sports games come out, like 2K I play now. But those 3 games will be like the 3 that I cycle through like my whole life, pretty much. I don't really play anything else.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I mean, it basically works the same way. Like 2K comes out, we play it for like a month. Then FIFA comes out, we play it for like a month. And then COD comes out, and we just play it throughout the rest of the year. And then it hits like the summer, and we're outside and like doing stuff, and then coming back to it. That's basically been how it is. And then competitive Call of Duty, I guess I would say the way that I got into it was through Syndicate. So I was obsessed with zombies, and I was obsessed with
Interesting.
watching Syndicate. And Black Ops 2 Champs was on, and at the time I think they were about to release Mob of the Dead. I think, like
Yes.
not Mob of the Dead, sorry, Call of the Dead, the one with George Romero, and they were going to release the trailer or like the first gameplay look of it. And Syndicate tweeted out like, if you want to see it, you need to tune in to Black Ops 2 Champs. And so I tuned into the stream like waiting to see a zombies reveal, and I just remember seeing like Parasite playing Search and Destroy. Who I'd play that sometimes with my friends. Like if we got bored of zombies, we play Search and Destroy. And I just saw like Parasite like playing S&D, and I vividly have a memory of like this RCXD strat where like they like took the RC car and drove it down the lane, and 3 players or 2 players chased the RC car, like 2 teammates chased behind it, but at a safe enough distance where it was like you have to choose to shoot the car or shoot the people. I like
Yes.
vividly remember that. I don't even know if it's true, but that's what I picture in my head.
Yeah.
And that's like the spark of like, this is so strategic, this is crazy, like I need to understand what they're doing here. And then I got into competitive Call of Duty. I saw like Complexity win their ring at that time, and then I got into Optic and just fell in love with it ever since, basically.
Oh my god, that is that is actually such a nice origin story, and like the fact that you actually had like the wherewithal to actually pick up on, oh my god, like they're doing the RC strat, they have to choose between this, because I think a lot of people just say like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
RC car, like whatever, you picked up on that. And I'm also very interested in the fact that like your first like, because I don't hear a lot of people say when they first play Call of Duty they're playing capture the flag. Like most people play like team deathmatch or like, you know, like kill confirmed.
It just made so much sense. Like capture flag is just perfect. Like I don't know why. I just love that mode.
Yeah, like you have to like sneak into the enemy base, they have to sneak into yours, you have to protect and capture. And I mean, that was probably like the best game besides like Black Ops 1 for like cap the flag, to be honest. Like those games were prime for that. Okay, wow. I mean, that's pretty much like all your origin there. That's pretty much like that whole story. I'm actually very tempted. I'm actually gonna see if I could go back and find like the exact S&D where the
I could be so wrong, but I just feel like I remember that happening, because I remember going back to my friends and being like, we need to try this, like we need to do this, because we used to just sit in corners with claymores, and like I was like, no, if we get an RC, like we need to chase it, like this is so smart, they're gonna die.
That's like definitely something like Parasite, especially at that time, like his team and Complexity were like so far ahead. That's definitely something I feel like they would have like tried to do.
I've never asked Haggy if like that was a real thing. I just vividly remember it in my head. But yeah, I guess Haggy got me into S&D, or got me into competitive COD.
Wow, he's actually be fucking so gassed by that. Cloud9 ends up like, you know, doing well. Yo, I got the head coach into this. I'm the reason why he's here, you know, all that stuff. So I have here your history of coaching, and I guess I could ask you how you got into coaching, but first I'll just like start off with the first thing on my notes. So it was 2021 EU Challengers. I'm assuming you become an analyst for Amelia Strays.
Yeah.
And it was like very brief. It was like a week and you were out of there. And then later that year, 2021, which is Vanguard, you became the coach of the Challengers team of Assault, Classic, Exceed, and Shawnee, and you guys go on multiple orgs, but you guys are together all year. So I guess you could start from like the 2021 and then how you got into NA from there.
Okay, so I mean basically like through Cold War it was COVID, and I was like playing 8s every day, like just playing cups and stuff, and I'd always felt like I kind of had a good understanding for the game, or at least like I enjoyed watching like the CDL every week, etc. And the way that I got back into Call of Duty, I guess I'll go like a little bit further back, is from that CWL or CDL London event. My brother was like, we should really go to it, and I was like, I'm not really feeling it, but we went to it anyway. And basically I remember just us like to make the atmosphere better, like we were just betting on the games essentially, like
Mm.
just sitting there betting on the games.
Wow, that's
And
fun. That's fun. I would do that.
then it turned into Cold War, and we just kept betting on the games for fun, like me and then it turned into my group, like my group of friends, and we actually got into IOU Turtle, who's still doing stuff now. He's like amazing. He does like these public stat sheets for every team, and I got
Okay.
into his sheet that he would make public, and I basically just used it as ways to figure out like the stats behind teams and like what map's gonna show up, map records, or like their best hills, etc. So I can try and make these bets as safe as possible, right?
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
and um, then I was like always playing as well, and I always felt like I had a decent understanding for the game. I knew I wasn't ever good enough. I couldn't shoot straight, and I basically just like took the step back, and I was like, I don't want to play it anymore. Like and a friend of mine said like, you should try like if you want, like you could try coaching. And I was like, what is that? And he was like, well, you could just be like a VOD recorder for this guy, and it was Watson, who I'd watched play in Advanced
Oh,
Warfare like all the time.
interesting.
So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Like instead of playing every day with me and like the level that I'm at, why would I play at the level I'm at, which was like top 64 in Europe? I'd rather like get behind the curtain and like see what Watson does every single day.
Yeah.
And like maybe I'll just take a hand at coaching. Like it's COVID, I might as well. But yeah, I messaged Watson to be a video recorder. But when at the time I had a PS5 and an iMac. I didn't have a PC. So I had no way of recording their scrims like efficiently. So I was recording the scrims on my PlayStation, like a live stream on my PlayStation. I would record the audio from the TeamSpeak channel on my iMac at the same time.
Oh my
And
god.
then the scrim would end at like I think like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. I would go into like movie editor, I forgot what it's called on like Apple. I like pay for the subscription of it so I can
And you
get the
put the audio and the
sync
video
it to the map.
together? Wow.
But I would like cut it so it was like perfect, like map start, audio start, like, and I was just fresh, like I didn't know what I was doing, so I was just figuring it out on the fly. Like this probably sounds so easy to someone who just makes videos, but I was just an idiot. So I figured out how to do this, and then it was like I had to render this 6 hours of gameplay, and it took forever. So I'd set an alarm on my phone for 5 a.m. to like hit upload on the video so that when they're awake the next day, the video's there and they can actually look at the scrim back with comms, because we had the non-comms one, but I was like, no, they need comms, like
yeah.
they need to know. So I would do that, and then at the same time, that's just a VOD recording bit, which is like basically doing nothing. At the same time, I made like a stat sheet and was like on the fly tracking their stats. And then they went into a cup. It was longer than a week, but they went into a cup. I think it was about a month, and they went into one of the cups, which then led into the elites. But during the cup, I was watching the opponents that they were about to play on the bracket. So like, I remember Whalers was playing, like they're about to play Whalers in the next game. So I was watching Whalers stream and just putting down his tendencies or like where he's going to be. And then they went into that round, and I like showed Watson basically like, these are your stats from scrims. I've been tracking them. And he was like, I didn't know you were doing this. And then I was like, and you're playing Whalers, like you should watch out for him in Hut on raid. Like he loves to go there. And I remember like telling him like, I think the other players play around here, but like Whalers for sure, like he's in the Hut like every time. And Watson like loved it basically. And was like, this is fucking amazing, like you're doing like everything. And I was like, okay, this is dope, like I need to keep doing this. But then I was in my final year of university, so I basically just like, and I just had surgery, so I stepped away, and I was like, they ended up winning like the elite stage, and there's like accusations on them too. But they ended up winning it, but I stepped away from doing it. But it was like my first taste of it, so I understood like what it was basically for about a couple weeks or a month or so, and I understood like what I had to do, and like what I loved about it. So I stepped away to do my final dissertation at university, like my final project. and then the season basically ended. So then I came, we got to Vanguard, and I was, to be honest, just like, yeah, this was cool, but I'm not really going to continue doing it. And I ended up just like getting a job, trying to live a normal life. But Vikul had tweeted out that he needs they need a coach for his team, and he was moving over to North America. And in that 2 week to a month period, Vikul was always joining Watson's TeamSpeak because he was on the cusp of turning 18, and he would play with Watson quite a lot, and just asking for like advice and stuff. And that's where I met Vikul, and we ended up just talking about football, like random stuff. Like we never talked about the game. We just talked to each other, and it was like, oh, nice to meet you, blah blah blah. But he tweeted out that he was with Assault, Pentagram, and Exceed. So I just DM'd him like, hey, I'll do it. Like, no problem. I'll be your coach. And he was like, yeah, cool. I set it up. So I remember having this call with Assault, Exceed, Pentagram, and Vikul, and I took it super serious. And I was like, this is what I'm gonna do for you guys. Like, I'm gonna help you guys out like this. And they were probably just thinking, what's this guy talking about? Like, just record the pod, man. Like, what are you doing? But then Vikul sketched on them. So like, I remember like, it was like, yeah, cool, you're gonna help us out. And I went and bought like a PC. I went and bought like a game capture for my PS5. I bought a game capture for my PS5, and then a week later was like, no, it's not going to be good enough. I need a PC. So I got a PC for it. And then Vikul sketched, and I was like, oh, I'm doomed. Like, what am I going to do now? And I kept messaging Assault and Exceed and being like, do you guys still want me? Like, where are you guys going to go? Like, who are you guys going to get? And at the time, he was like, I'll be real with you. Like, Zed and Denz are going to coach us. They're like friends with Sean. We're going to go play with Shawnee in Classic. And Zed and Denz are going to coach us. But they've got some stuff going on. So maybe that falls through and there's a space for you. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, let me know. And that was the Vanguard year. And Zed and Denz ended up going and becoming Boston Breach, like head coach and general manager. So it opened up that spot with Assault. And he was like, yeah, just come through. So I spent the year with them. And it was basically more of the same, but going like taking it to the next level. It was like being a part of scrims, learning off of them essentially, and like seeing what input I could give in, especially around like the cups and stuff, like getting player tendencies and opposition and helping them out, as well as just like tracking the stats. And me and my brother did it together because we're both working jobs, so we both did it together to try and give ourselves some flexibility.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, at that time I brought him through to help me out with it, and we had a good year. I mean, that was like one of the most fun years. We got to travel to our first event, which was Minnesota. And I kind of mentioned it before, I'm of Iranian descent, and because I had both passports, like I was a dual national, you couldn't travel to the States. You couldn't get there. So this first event was announced, and it was about a month's notice. And I got myself a visa and like an appointment to fly out to Ireland, and got a visa. I did it all within like 2-3 weeks. And Sean was like, you're never going to do this. It's impossible. And like me and my brother were so dedicated to it. We found like this last minute cancellation at Ireland. So we flew to Ireland just to make the first event of the year. Because everything to us at that moment was, you need to be here. If you're not here, you're never going to make it. If you're not doing this, you're never going to make it. If you're not putting in more work than anyone else, you're never going to make it. You have to do this. So we were just doing whatever we could to try and push ourselves and like make ourselves known, I guess.
Yeah.
And we ended up just like traveling that year, and it ended with winning the World Challenger Championships, which was like surreal. Assault, who I'm like really close friends with, like sketching us towards the end of the season, and went to Ultra NA, which was like a no-brainer. He got to go play with Scrap.
Yes, and then that just backfired.
Well, yeah, then we just got like the revenge at Challenger Champs, which we shouldn't have been at anyway. We went and made like a fake team, or like a random team of points that could basically qualify us automatically for it, and ended up qualifying out there. And then we ended up winning it, which was like amazing. And I got to work with Veohz during that period for about 2 weeks.
Who was the roster that won that?
The team was Exceed, Classic, Mohawk, and
yes.
Brack. And at the time, it was like Mohawk had the keys because he had the most points from being on NA, and he just said like, build whatever you can make. And I remember like working with Nick, and there were a couple sub options, but I remember working with Nick like Classic, and I was like let's just get Classic back. So we got Classic with Exceed and Brack and Mohawk, and we had like maybe the craziest 2 weeks of scrims I've ever been a part of. But we ended up just going to the event, and I didn't think we were going to beat Ultra NA, but they ended up winning it. And Assault was, like, to be fair, like Assault was super sick. He had COVID, a crazy fever the day of the finals, which is like lore that no one really knows about.
It's almost like karma.
It doesn't really
honestly.
take away from the win, but
Yeah.
like, he was super sick that event on that final. So
I didn't even know that. Interesting. I was actually mind blown that they lost. I was really confused because I think they dropped Mohawk for him. Am I correct about?
Yeah.
So like you guys basically just like switched ARs, and I was like, like they're probably just gonna like win. And then next thing I know, they lose. I'm like, they got scrapped. They got like loaded roster, and then they end up losing. That is crazy.
I mean, but that period was like a crazy like final or day or weekend or whatever. But yeah, I mean, long story short, we ended up winning the Challenge Championship, and that's when I managed to get my opportunity to the league, and that just really just came from Marky B just being like as good of a coach as he is like a person. Like I guess my like view of it is it's very hard to be in the league. Like you do need to have good personal relationships with people.
Yes.
And I feel like I've landed on, which we'll touch on, like I've landed on 2 lucky situations, but you kind of create your own luck. But I've landed on 2 lucky situations for that not to be the case for me, where my first year in the league was Marky B just like interviewing anyone who DM'd him, anyone who reached out to him. Like he took the time out of his day to go and like listen to people. And that's where like I interviewed for the role. And yeah, I managed to get selected for it after like 4 months of interviews, and it was a crazy process. But
really, 4 months of interviews?
Yeah, it was insane. I think I did like 10 interviews for that role, because Mark always wanted me and always pushed me through to interviews, but then there were people in like upper management that didn't necessarily want me and wanted other people because of the name.
Yes.
Like I was an unknown quantity, and there were bigger names that they could have got as well. But then again, like things fall through and things work out in your favor, which luckily worked for me, and I managed to get my first opportunity in the league. So I mean, I really count it like I spent a year in challenges and then I went to the league, which was super quick and super lucky. But like I said, like once you're there, you just have to keep working as hard as the next person to kind of stay in it. And even through some bad results, managed to kind of still progress, I guess I would say, and like in my roles and progress in my like my standing in the league, I guess.
I mean, I have so many questions off of that, but honestly, I don't really consider it luck because like there was a person, I forgot who, with like the wise quote, I find it funny, the harder I work, the luckier I get, and you were clearly working hard. You were going out of your way to fly to here to get a visa. How many people are actually doing that? Like, how many people are just like, you know, like I want to be a coach. Oh, I got to fly. I'm not sure if I can, you know, like logistics. You were like going out of your way to make it happen, and you basically put yourself in positions to be lucky, which is literally what you have to do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I remember like, I don't want to like dig anyone out, and I don't want to toot my own horn either, but it's going to sound like this.
Nah, toot your fucking horn, man. Toot your fucking horn.
But it's
man.
like, I remember being a part of like conversations with like groups of people and stuff, and like the mindset that me and my brother had was like this is what we want to do, so we're going to throw everything at it. And I remember like I was in a group chat and people were talking about how much money they had saved up at the time, and fair enough to them, like they had X amount, but then they were like, I can't travel to this event, I can't travel to that event. And I remember just like where I was working a 9 to 5, barely like really going paycheck to paycheck, like whatever I spent, I was lucky enough like my mom would front me the flight money, then I'd pay her back over like 2 months of it. Or like my sister would help me out 1 month, or like one of my friends would help me out, and we'd me and my brother would basically just like put everything into trying to go to these events. And like in my head it was like, if I'm not there, I can't do what I want to do. So it was really just like throwing throwing the kitchen sink at it and really just like you said, like creating your own luck and putting yourselves into positions to create your own luck, because you kind of just have to, I think.
Yeah.
Especially at that time. I feel like times have changed now, but at that time, that's like what felt right to me.
I honestly feel like you're gonna earn the respect of so many people from this story, because even like it's always like, I just love hearing people that like just work extremely hard, and I mean, like, a lot of the most successful people are like obsessed, like actually upset. Like, you sound like, I have to do this, otherwise there's no other how many coaches, for example, are like that? Like, because even before I started talking to you, it's like, who's Arian? Where did Arian come from? I don't know anything about Arian. And now hearing like you literally just moved your mountains and created your luck to get in that spot, so it's like all makes sense after people actually like know who you are. It's actually very inspiring. And I wanted to just quickly ask, like, one of the first questions from everything you're talking about, like, what were you studying in university?
So I studied business management and marketing. And in my final year, I focused on marketing as a sole. And that's like the industry that I still work in now to this day is marketing. Worked on like agencies, and now I'm like at one solid place. But yeah, I worked on agencies for like some of the biggest brands, I guess I would say, in marketing. But when I say marketing, like, people think like it's adverts and stuff, but it's a lot simpler than that, because it's such a like broad term. What I do specifically is like Google search marketing. So like if you search like black shoes, and for example, if I worked for Nike, I would basically, my job would be to make sure that Nike black shoes shows up right at the top of your search list.
Interesting.
And yeah, that's basically like what my like profession was.
So like, that's like a computer job. You don't have to go into the office. Like, are you able to do that one from home?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you do, yeah. It kind of depends where you work or who you work for. But like, obviously during COVID, it was more remote. But now things are changing. Like in the UK, and most companies would do like 3 or 4 days a week in the office.
Okay.
Like 9 to 5. I guess like last year, for context, on C9, I was doing like 9 to 5. And then scrims in the UK time are 7 till about 2 a.m. in the morning. So then I come home and we do scrims and like get on at 6. So I'd come home, instantly get on until the night, and
really, like, no shower, just hopping straight on with the dinner.
I mean, well, to be honest, like, Lamar's super nice. Like Lamar was super good about everything. Like if I needed to do whatever, like, he would be okay. But like I said, like, in my head, it's like I need to be there. Like, even with scrims, it's hard to take some time off, and that's one thing that accuracy, like Lamar, like, did teach me. Like, nothing comes before your family or your friends. So like, we'd have days, like, especially leading up towards Christmas, where like all my family are downstairs, and I'm like, I can't talk to them. I need to do this one day of practice. I need to be here. But he would just be like, what are you doing? Like, go and spend that time with your family. Like, you're not gonna miss out on anything too crazy. Like, I'm gonna fill you in. Like, you're gonna be good. You can watch it back. You can do this. So like, go and have that like one day off instead of just always like doing crazy stuff. So I've gotten a little bit better at that. But yeah, like quick showers and stuff, like, you can do it. Especially because like if you're working from home, you just shower. But yeah.
So you would like come home like 6 p.m. to 2 p.m. So I'm assuming like you weren't like recording the scrims. I'm assuming you're recording. There's another person, or even accuracy, probably like recording that.
No, for C9, I was recording pretty much every scrim.
Oh,
I couldn't be there. We had a team manager doing it.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I mean, yeah, accuracy can't. I don't want to dig about it, but he can't use a computer. He could use a controller though. So
you would record the scrims and then render them while you're sleeping, and then upload them in the morning?
Well, I don't do that anymore for C9. That's only what I did for that 1 month with Watson. After that, I got a PC, and it was super easy, like, to record scrims. Like, I do it like everyone else does.
Okay.
So now I'm just there, like, it's easy. Like, that portion's cut out of my life, and like, the year that I spent in challenges was basically like a year of like, how do I automate myself to make sure that I can be as like focused on the team as possible. So yeah, I mean, things have changed massively since that point, but now it's pretty much like everyone else does it.
So pretty much like your passion for analytics and Call of Duty like just came from uh knowing that you couldn't play the game yourself, but you felt you had a really good understanding, and you became like super obsessed with just like the technical side of it, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess that's like a good way of putting it, as well as just like who I guess what I am like in like, as a person. Like obviously in your profession, I work with data all the
Yeah.
time, um, and then just as a sports fan, like I look at data all the time, right? Like I feel
Yeah.
like one of my niches is like football as a whole, or just sports in general. Like I pretty much know a lot about most sports teams or most sports in general.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot of data points that I'll use to lean on for that, and that's kind of just where my like passion for data within esports or Call of Duty comes from,
Yeah.
as well as just like yeah, I feel like I had a good mind for it, and data backs up. Like the way data works is it's never going to tell the story. Like you use data to back up your feelings
Yes.
and to back up like to validate whether you're right or wrong. If you ever just look at something without the context or look at something in like isolation, you're probably on the wrong foot like already.
Mm.
And that's probably like where you see a lot of people have issues with like the fans who just look at breaking point KDs and are like, oh, they play terrible. Like,
Yep. Yeah, pretty much everybody. So was there a moment across this journey where you almost felt like you had like imposter syndrome, like how did I get here? I don't deserve to be here. Like there's probably people like way better than me that could be in this position, or did you always feel like the hard work I put in, I earned like this spot that I'm in and I am where I am?
you probably always flip between both.
Yeah.
Sometimes I guess like how I am as a person. You probably flip between both like when it happens, but like I guess when I first joined the league as an analyst for LAG, we didn't start off too hot, and I remember thinking like, am I like terrible? Like what's wrong with me? Like I must be bad. But then you kind of like get to understand like what's really going on,
Yeah.
and what you can do in the situation. And then the following year, LAG, I think we had a really good year, so that like helped validate your feelings, I guess. Not
Yeah.
just for me, but for Veohz, for my brother, for all four players as well. Like we all had, or five players, I should say, because we had five. Um, we all had like one common goal of just like we were all outshunned by every team in the league, and the idea was we were going to prove that we were like best, like better than the rest, right? Because you had the top four, and at least
Yes.
from a coach's staff perspective, like you had the top four, and they were going to be the top four. Um, but then like every other team in the league, we looked at it like Formula One a little bit, where you have like the top teams, and then whoever's like fifth or sixth that season is usually called best of the rest.
Yes.
And we looked at it like that's our goal. Like if we're best of the rest, like we prove that like we're way better than everyone else, and we can like push on to go and do bigger things. We ended up like finishing the season. I think we we're sixth seed overall, but we were tied points with fifth. We just lost it on a tiebreaker. And then when you take like LAN performances, we were like the fifth best team on LAN throughout the year. So we were like we like smashed our goals.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted to do. And then when you get like the head coach role at C, like when I got the head coach role initially, I was like, okay, like I'm like ready to take it. But then you flip back and forth, like other people deserve it more, and people lose out opportunities in the league, and you feel like, damn, like that's someone who's really good at what they do. And
Yeah.
but then you just realize like you're here for a reason, you're doing something for a reason, and yeah, I mean, C9 and everything, like they've just shown full faith in me and backing, and I'm like super grateful for it, really, and appreciative of just the support they've given me since I joined the team. Like originally from when I joined the team to now, it's like been such a massive change from what I originally like was, and now in the role that I'm in, like I mean, I just like, yeah, I can't thank them enough really for just like believing in me, and as well as everyone else, like even Lamar, like accuracy, like he was like a really good mentor for the year, like super like perfect to work with, and I don't
Yeah.
have anything negative to say about him. He's like, I look at him like a big brother, or like a, yeah, definitely like a big brother.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, without even knowing him, like, I love him. Like, I think he's like a great personality without even knowing him, and I even like think he's like, I actually think he's like the best like flank co-host like ever. Like, he just has great, he has great vibes and everything. Um, and
As a person, like he can't be like hated. Like
yeah,
it's so like he just loves to put people on, and he just loves to give you like little nuggets of information and teach you like how to be a better person, or just like even if it's not the way that he would do it, like he could see that you want to do it this way, and he'll just be like, "This is the path you're going on. Like here's some information that might help you like on this path, or like here's how I would help you navigate it." And he's just like a perfect, like a wise word always.
wow, wow. I mean, enough. Like, I mean, let's say I actually feel bad about like every previous gameplay thing I ever said about accuracies.
I mean, it's at the end of the day, like there's also the fact of like it's your job, right? Like
Yeah,
your job
yeah.
is to perform, so people are gonna have opinions.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but it's easy to see why all these rosters wanted him on like the teams, like just from a personality and IGL
well,
perspective.
I mean, he has really good records, right? Like he won in a lot of years consecutively, I think, and
I think it was only
especially like
World War II where he won consecutively. I believe it was only World War II. Yeah.
or at least like I guess I would say like making. Oh, sorry, I said winning consecutive, but like winning in different years, I guess I would
Yes.
say,
Yeah.
and at least making finals or pushing on and having competitive teams,
Yeah.
especially like what they did over at Surge. Like people don't really credit them for, like they look at like Pred and Sib now, but
Oh,
that Surge team was a
100%.
complete rebuild.
Yeah.
The team was like a complete scratch rebuild. He picked up 2 rookies. Like Sib was a sub and like a substitute, but people didn't really take the chance on him for various other reasons. But
Yes.
like he took the chance on these people, and something that Lamar's always done is has a really good track record with rookies. So when like it's so easy when I'm like, oh, he's such a wise word and he helps people out with these nuggets of information. It just makes sense as to like how he's had such a good record with the rookies, because he works with them and they end up winning, or they end up doing something winning. And yeah, I mean, he's super good at that. Like that Surge team was super competitive and went on to do great stuff. And there's a lot of people who don't have good track record with rookies, which I think is like it's hard to work with rookies as well. It's also a big risk, but he seems to always find the right one. I think there's only really like one rookie that he's really missed on.
Yeah, and honestly in that like Vanguard year, he found the perfect person, and I specifically remember him saying something along the lines of him telling Pred, "Hey buddy, like don't hop in the hill, like I'm doing all this work, you go shine." And like that just like speaks to the person he is, perfectly fine sacrificing his statistics to just like let this guy go do his thing, and now AG is who he is.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, and so this one's more of a question for me, and it goes off something you were saying earlier about like basically recognizing that the top 4 is like the top 4, and we're just gonna try to be like the best of the rest. So like I've always like thought, and like this could be kind of crazy, but obviously it's exactly like sports. Like there's just some people that are just naturally better than others, and they're playing like the same thing. There's just some people that are better than others. Is there like ever any like mindset or mentality that like, yes, the top 4 is the top 4, but like we're gonna try to get in there? Or is it always like is it always like a thing of like accepting, oh, we could only get to here?
No, I mean for sure you always like push for everything. I think there's 2 ways that you have to look at it, right? Like when you're part of a coaching staff, you need to be able to set realistic expectations, not just for your team, but for yourselves, for the management as well. It's all fun and games when you're the last team to build a roster.
Yeah.
And you're gonna tell upper management we're gonna win. Like it's if it doesn't happen, like it doesn't make sense. You're not you're not setting realistic expectations. Like if you're just in any regular job, people will just tell you that's a massive red flag. So it's super important to set realistic expectations and have a high enough ceiling to where you're reaching for the stars, but also making sure that you're raising the floor a little bit and being like, this is the minimum standard that we want to get to. I remember like the week 2 or 3 of the game, we beat LAT, who like everyone thought was going to be the 5th best team that year.
Yeah.
Like going into it. And I remember like we had a massive conversation with the players and we said like, this is our floor. Like we've beaten them now, and like why can't we go and beat everyone else, or why can't we do that? And we even got top 3 at an event, right? Which is like goes on to prove that we didn't really look at it like this is the top 4 and we're never going to beat them.
Yeah.
Like with the players, with the team that you're like practicing with every day, the sky's the limit. But when you're outside of it, and now we can look back on it, like as a coaching staff, the reality of it was like we know like the level of these players is going to be hard to beat on any given day. You need to play perfect Call of Duty and consistently over 5 or 3 maps in order to like win the series and push on to where you want to be. So to answer your question, like the top 4 is the top 4 just because you can kind of tell that they were going to be dominant and they were going to end the standings on top 4. You can factor in for inconsistency with the team that we had, or like understandably so, like expect that you're going to lose more games than probably other teams would expect. But the whole point was we were a team that was going to grow over the course of the season, and I think we did that.
So are these like expectations of like goals that you want to reach, are they made like before the season starts, or are they like constantly going like as the season progresses?
Well, you should always be like you should always be as fluid as possible, right? Like things change. Like situations change. Like Vancouver got top 12 at an event and then picked up a guy and made every final since, right? Like so I'm sure like when they got Neptune, their goal wasn't we're gonna go make finals. I'm sure they weren't even saying we're gonna go get top 8. Like they probably were just thinking like we'll just see how things go. But in reality, again, setting realistic expectations, you probably want to be able to see a good jump from what you're getting.
Yes.
And I mean to go back to it, or like answer the question, is like at the start of the season you set clear goals. At least that's what we did on that LAG season. We set clear goals with the players. We actually asked the players like what their goals were, and were able to build like overall team goals from it. So the 2 goals that everyone had like across the board was they all wanted to make champs when we built the team. I think everyone but one person said the goal is to make champs. The other person, which was Fame, said, I want to go make a Sunday because I already made one and I want to go prove that I can do it again.
Yeah.
So that final major 4, we got top 3 and locked in our place at champs. So it was like we ticked off our goals. Now let's go push on and like let's go do like a crazy scene at champs. Like we just got 3rd. Why can't we push on? Unfortunately, it didn't happen like that. We got last at champs, but yeah, I mean, like in general, we set the goals early, and you always look to change them or tweak whatever, but overall, you kind of set the goals early.
Have you ever felt like you wanted to? I mean, like obviously, in order to get to the level of like the top 3, top 4, like you need to put in like more hours. Like you really need to like really do the work. Have you ever felt like you wanted to push more, but like you couldn't, like you didn't want to like overwork players or like step in too much, or be like, I may be sounding like too obsessive, like, you know, like doing too much? Was there ever like a feeling like that?
This is my idea, and like less is more. In honesty, less is more. Maybe like a misconception of the league is that like people don't play enough. Like these players play all the time.
Yeah.
And practice is probably like too much at times. And usually, if a team's doing bad, most teams resort to more practice, and usually that makes things worse because you are practicing bad habits and bad tendencies, and your quality isn't good enough, to be honest. So you were just putting in 50 reps of bad quality practice, as opposed to like really taking a step back, going into like deep VOD reviews or just in general, just taking a step back and like tweaking something and putting in 10 quality reps of scrims as opposed to 50 bad quality ones. So in honesty, like whenever things like that happen, and I've been like an analyst and an assistant coach, like a lot of players always resort to playing more, and a lot of teams resort to playing more. But a lot of the good teams, especially one that like teams won't know is Ultra, like they are the kings of it. Like they are kings of less is more.
Yeah.
And they put in quality over quantity, and that is like for my view of how things should go. But then I counteract everything I just said because I'm constantly trying to do things all the time. So in my head, I'm like, I need to kill myself into the ground. But these players need to make sure that less is more. Like they need to sit back a bit and make sure that they don't play. So I counteract myself, but I just think like for quality of the player, like less is more.
Yeah, like that's pretty much what I'm talking about. I'm not necessarily talking about playing the game too much, but I'm talking about like the VOD review constantly. Is there like such thing as like too much going over? He should be here. He should be there.
Well, 100%. The LAG year, both LAG years, the first year we definitely fell into a phase where we were nitpicking and like thinking, over tweaking and talking about things too much, about the little details. The second LAG year, like we got top 6 Major 1, top 6 Major 2, and we made a roster change going into Major 3. We got 12th at Major 3 with Flames. The reality of why that happened was we messed up the Veohz. And it was like a real learning experience of like, it wasn't really a learning experience, it's just a slap in the face. Like we messed up the Veohz and we got top 12 and we really like costed the team in that event. But after the event, we have conversations. Every team does it. I would assume, I would hope that every team has deep conversations with the team and what we can improve, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we can change going forward. And the players, as well as like coaching staff, were like talking about it, and we just came to an agreement, and it was mostly player led as well, which was nice. That the coaches were like doing too much in terms of VOD review, nitpicking. So we could see that the players were like deer in headlights, like they didn't know what play to make. They weren't comfortable making plays. And I guess like what I would explain is like there's 2 examples of it. It's important that you have clear goals, and it's important that you have clear rules on the mat that make sense for the team. But I think you have like 2 situations. You have like those, were you ever in school when you had like the really wooden hard rulers that like wouldn't bend? Like they were just hard as shit. Like you just slap them and they won't do anything, right?
Yeah.
But just bruise your hand or whatever you slapped it on, like just goes like loud noise. And then were you ever like 5 or 6 years old and you had the rulers that were like super flexible and bendy, right? I think those 2 make sense to how you probably want a COD team to operate. You don't want the ruler, which is like the wooden one, because your rules are clear, strict, but you have no room for flexibility. And COD is a game of minute split-second decisions. So all you're going to get are players just stuck trying to figure out what to do in the moment. You want like clear goals, clear rules, but you give the players the confidence, the flexibility, and the idea of, we trust you to go and make a play in a situation. We trust you to read what's going to happen.
Yes.
Go and make your play. And that's probably like the difference between like Paco, for example. You just see him do these like crazy windy plays. Even like Huke, for example, is like a genius for it. Like they see something happening before it happens. So they'll bend the rules that they've worked with their team or practiced with their team, knowing the outcome is still going to work out the same way. But then you have players who are like, no, I need to stay here because this is what we talked about. And it just ends up making them die, or they end up losing the situation. And that's the stuff that like fans will never be involved in practice or never understand that could be a factor as to why things are happening.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, just giving the players the confidence to go and make plays, but making sure that you have a solid foundation to go off is like the key.
Yeah. So like, I mean, this is the last like carry on question before like we carry on, because we've been stuck on this. So have you ever felt like there's like certain players that should stick more to the game plan and others that should be more flexible? Is there ever like a thing like that?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have. That's probably like you're basically saying like which players do I think are like on which side of it, and that's probably just every conversation you have with every player is where can they improve or what can they do, and for sure there's players who probably should kind of have a bit more ingenuity in their gameplay, and there's players who probably have too much
Yes.
at times,
Yes.
and yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna draw anyone out.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
no.
definitely.
Yeah, no,
Like
no.
that's just how it is, right? You're gonna have players that just don't make plays, or players that do make plays and at the right times or not. That's basically summing up like what a Call of Duty professional is.
Okay. So second last question before we carry on. So building up notoriety. So like obviously like you came in as like an unknown person and you had to like build up. I guess this is gonna go into a question I was really gonna ask later, but I guess I'm asking it now. So what was like the internal process of building up notoriety, like especially like I heard you talk before about like the challengers thing when you're gonna get on a team, but then they said they had Dens and Zed. You're like, oh, you're probably thinking, oh, these are way bigger names than me, probably like like so
Yeah.
like what was the process of building up notoriety to like get the confidence to
Yeah, I mean, like the most important thing is, at least for me, the most important thing is the people that you work with need to value what you do, essentially. That's like the most important thing, because the first question that's going to get, or the first people that are going to get asked are those people. And they're not if they're not backing you, then you're probably doing something wrong, especially like in the Call of Duty scene where, like, to be honest, it's hard to get like a negative comment as a, like, at least in challenges, I would say. Like, as a coach in challenges, it's hard to get something negative from players unless you're just doing nothing for the team. So if you're working hard for them, like, they're gonna say good things about you,
Yeah.
and that will go its long way. And then once you make it to the CDL, it's the same thing, just making sure that internally you're loved and backed, and that will basically lead you on to then externally, like, getting more backing. Basically, I think, like, I guess an example I could use is that first year on LAG, I was with like Marky B and Mayhem, and then the team basically like blew up, the organization blew up, and then Veohz gets the opportunity from essentially having good internal notoriety.
Yes.
He gets this opportunity to build the team from upper management, that they saw something in him, and they were right to do so. They were also pivoting in the strategy, but she's like, Brenda, our general manager, saw something in Veohz and wanted to go with him in terms of the way he operates and the way he sees teams going. And then he brought myself and my brother on and I stayed on the team. And if I wasn't working hard that first year at LAG, or if I wasn't doing the right things, then LAG would have just said no. Like, why are you going to bring this guy back?
Yes.
There's no real point.
Yeah.
But then even in that LAG year, the following season, so I guess last season where I was joining C9, like, my notoriety improved because it was strong internally, and other coaches could see that it was strong internally, which led to like coaches talking to me about certain things, or like being like somebody reached out to me and was like, I'd like to work with you because I see the things that you're doing. And that's just me working hard, not
Yes.
focused on anything else. But they're like, I see the work you're putting in. Like, I can see you backstage. It looks like the things you're doing are the right things. Like, every time I see you, you're just constantly doing everything that I can see is good. And then we just end up getting into conversations, and that's where, like, you dive in deeper with people and they start to see how you like to work, and it goes that way. At least that's how I would do it. But also, you do just need to play the game a little bit. You do need to reach out to people, and you do need to be in the certain places, like going to like, you just lost on a Sunday, or you just lost on a Saturday, and going to the bar and being around people, like,
Yeah.
it's gonna help.
Yes.
Just knowing that you're not someone that is just gonna be secluded and weird, like, it's gonna help just being in front of people's faces and talking to them and having conversations. So you do have to play the game a little bit in that sense.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty much along the like building up notoriety is basically, like essentially to summarize everything you said, it's getting super good at your craft to where people like notice and like they get some sort of like respect for you, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
And last thing before we carry on, you said you got to work with Veohz for like 2 weeks. I think this is before Vanguard champs.
Yeah.
So like, how did you meet him, and what were those like 2 weeks like?
So I originally met him just in challenges, like you're just like booking scrims, or like you see them at the event, you say hi, what's up, like you hang out. But the way we ended up teaming was the event before champs. My team was Mohawk, Exceed, Proloot, and Capsule, and we got top 8, which meant that we didn't auto qualify. We didn't get enough points to auto qualify to champs. So Mohawk basically said, like, just make a team that auto qualifies. Like, do that. And the player that you needed was Brack. You had to pair Mohawk with Brack in order to make them auto qualify. And then you had to get, like, there were 5 or 6 options of submachine guns that you could pick from. But the 2 ARs had to be those 2. And when we went to Brack, he basically said, I'll come, but I'm bringing Veohz with me. Like, he has to come too. So then it was this, to be honest, it was like this awkward phase where it was like me, my brother Veohz, and even the analyst that they had at the time, which was Arian. We had 4 coaches in the team.
That's good.
And we all wanted to push on and become league coaches. So that first week was super weird. Like, we had so much friction, and we basically just sat down and like hashed it out. And then the second week we like had great practice, like super good. And then we ended up winning it, and leading into the off season, we end up hanging out with each other a lot more and just talking and figuring out like we actually work pretty well together. We see a lot of things the same way. So when he got that, and also then I moved to LAG, and he got the academy spot. And when I was the analyst for LAG, I was the analyst for the main team and the academy team. So I'd be with the main team for scrims every day, but then I left my full-time job at the time, and when I'd wake up the next day, I would fill in the academy scrims essentially and like catch up on their stats for them, so that they had their data ready for the next day.
Yeah.
So I was working with both teams, and Major 1 was a pro-am. So at Major 1, I was working with both teams, where it was like we had a match, then the very next match I had to go to the academy team. So I was like prepping both teams for matches, essentially.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, so basically I was working with both teams at the time. So that's where I also got to work with Veohz a lot more over the course of the season, but a lot less like in scrims. But I talked to him, I'd be like, by the way, like it looks like you guys are falling off here. Like I dived in, I saw like I looked at these scrims, like maybe you can improve here, or he'd reach out to me and be like, how are you guys doing things? But their team was really good, so I could basically see them scrimming, and they were super good, and they ended up like making the pro-am, and then they won the challenges event. So we ended up bringing through 3 of their academy players. And yeah, had to like basically work through that. But yeah, we spent the year on LAG together, and then we spent the next year on LAG together as well, but this time both of us on the main team.
How the heck is it like having 4 analysts in like one scrim on one team? Is it just like
Veohz is like a hard coach. He isn't an analyst at all. Like he doesn't work with data. My brother, I would say, is more analytical than myself. And then the way I see it is how I described it, where data like backs up your feelings. So
yes,
I kind of like to work in between, where like I want to be coaching every single day, but I want data to back up my feelings, and I want to dive into data and use that later on. And then I'm also just able to collect the data myself, as opposed to maybe like coaches in the league are usually former players, so they probably won't have the data analytical background. So they'll have an analyst that will help support them in that aspect, or an assistant coach that will help them in that aspect. Whereas like I just can switch between both. and then Aaron Sharp, who isn't in the scene anymore. He was like an analyst for, or he is an analyst for football teams, for like professional soccer teams.
Okay.
So he had like a really cool clipping tool. He wasn't like a data analyst. He was like a clipping analyst where like his whole idea was showing what he can do for league level.
Yeah.
And he would use challenges for it, which is very difficult to translate to. So in honesty, it was like like me and my brother were like the two analysts slash I was the assistant coach, I would say. And then you had Veohz who was coach, and then Aaron Chart was like working on this different thing or idea that he had for Call of Duty esports. So it didn't really mesh that badly.
Okay.
And kind of worked.
Yo guys, today's episode of Burrito Talk is sponsored by me. No, I'm kidding. Today's episode of Burrito Talk is sponsored by the Burrito Takeover YouTube membership, the best membership on all of YouTube. For just $4.99 Canadian, you unlock a bunch of extra behind the scenes, extra breakdowns, extra analysis from yours truly, Burrito. A lot of extra content that you will not get on any other YouTube channel for their memberships. Not trying to compare or anything, but it is the best YouTube membership. If you're interested in extra content, extra chill nights, watching breakdowns, analysis, so much good stuff in the archives, and so much more on the way from yours truly, Burrito. So hit the join button. Join, support the Burrito Takeover on my road to full-time content. This episode of Burrito Talk is sponsored by the Burrito Takeover YouTube membership. Now back to the podcast. All right, guys, welcome back for part 2 of the Burrito Talk podcast after the break, and we're going into his MW2 season. So MW2 starts off with Arcides, Neptune, Spartan Hook, the run it back trio plus Arcides. So walk me through that, because I know there's like some roster changes like after the first majors, like the Pro-Am.
Yeah.
So walk me through how that started.
Yeah, so I guess I joined LAG. It was a long like off season where I think I had like 4 months. It felt like 4 months. Maybe it was 2 or 3 months of like straight interviews, like 6 or 7 of them to try and land this role with LAG. But again, like thanks to Marky B, because I'd just come off of winning challenges like the World Championships. Mark was moving from Toronto to LAG and building out like the coaching staff. He just kind of built he'd built like a really good legacy, I would say, with like Toronto Ultra, which is still kind of kept there today, like the identity that they have. And he was like the start of that, like part of the pioneers of that, alongside Ryan as well, who's still there. And yeah, I guess Mark was moving forward into LAG, and the way that I saw it was that like he was going to basically build like a different version of it, of Toronto Ultra, and a long-term vision, a goal for LAG, because everyone kind of knew that LAG were like a team that had like really high budgets but never performed to the level that they should have. So it kind of made sense when they picked up Marky B, like who'd just come off of like finals at champs with Toronto and stuff. It made sense that like they were going to be like going in the right direction. They had then they also signed Alec, who was like straight off of coming second at every event with FaZe. It seemed like a staple piece. They had Spart, who they won an event with that year. And then they also had like Kyler as well, who they won as well with, and Travis, who was like this up and comer from a couple years and really good. And those guys wanted to play together. I didn't really have any say in the roster. I wasn't on the team at that point. I joined like a week before the game came out. But I believed in that team, to be honest. I quite liked it.
Yeah.
It felt like a team that I could get behind. I worked with Spart in challenges for a little bit. So like my opinion of him was really high at the time, like fresh off challenges. And I just like really like that year was literally a movie. It was probably the worst year that a CDL team's ever had in terms of like completion of year. And I know that every team that loses would be like, "Oh, our year was a movie," or "Our year was it was really bad. Like you wouldn't believe what happened to
Paris
us." But like
Legion.
the LAG year was like really like tough.
Yeah.
Um, and like I learned so much on that. Like I joined as an analyst into the league, like knowing that that was going to be my avenue in. Use my data like background, um, like as an analyst and kind of show off my skills, in terms of as a coach as well, and just build on it and learn from Mark, learn from Mayhem, learn from the players that we had on the team as well, of like how to be a CDL coach because I'd just come off challenges and then we had probably the worst year of all time in CDL history in terms of just like organizational to performance level, like complete destruction. So now I'm in a place where like that year looking back at it, I like the emotional roller coaster you went through. It was so many highs and lows and like a lot of lows, but I would do that all again to feel like the way I felt. It was super, super like, um, what's the word? Like, I just learned a lot from it. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Um, and yeah, I mean, for example, like top level, we had the starting roster that we started with, and it was very evident pretty quickly that the roster wasn't working. Um,
Yeah.
Not only like in practice, it was like iffy, but then like just in the way like the team meshed together didn't make sense from like top to bottom. Um, so it was very clear that there was going to be like changes made pretty quickly. We also had like this academy team that we invested in, like Jodeci's was picked up um as on like the academy team and they were doing really good. Like everyone saw them flying challenges. So we had like the academy team that was like the best players in challenges essentially with this like fresh talent Joe who we saw like a lot of potential in and we wanted to try and put him in
Yeah.
as early as we could. Um so yeah, I mean we went to Major 1 and uh I think we went to Major 1 pretty much with the mindset of the chances are we're probably going to be making two changes, maybe three at the end of this major. It ended up being three. We took three players from the academy. Um, so that was like movie number one was we literally just changed the entire roster.
Wait. Am I able to
Um,
just like stop you there
yeah,
real
yeah,
quick?
yeah,
I mean, obviously, like you explained why that roster like didn't work, like it didn't mesh well. I just want to say, from my POV at that time, I actually thought it was like, I'm not gonna say perfect, but I actually thought it was a well assembled roster. Like our
yeah,
cities, I thought was like obviously comes off of Vanguard with FaZe. Would say maybe getting scapegoated by MC. All of a sudden, MC's playing like a main AR. RC's has no idea what's going on. Spart, very high on Spart. A super duper flex, like great at S&D, good in all aspects. Had a takeover event in Vanguard like that previous year. And then I also think Hook and Neptune actually can play off each other like very well. And like I just thought every dynamic was
yeah,
there and the trio likes each other. So I was like
yeah.
surprised and I was like fighting for it even though it was like not working at all. I was like, how is that team not working? Like I was just like, I thought that team would be so good, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, like, um, yeah, like Spark, for example, I think he is so good and I don't want to like disrespect him in the way that I say this. Like, I mean this with the utmost respect. Like, he is such a good plug and play player because he can just. It almost feels like whatever situation you put him in, he can adapt to it, or like whatever team you throw him into, like he can fit it. He just makes sense
Yeah, that's 100% a
in a lot of
compliment for sure.
situations. Um, and like you've seen that, like looking forward from that point, you've kind of seen that happen. Like he plug and played in that Vanguard
Yeah.
tournament, ended up winning it. He plug and played for Minnesota Rocker in that MW3 season for a weekend or two when accuracy stepped away, and he looked really good at that moment too. And then even for like C9 last season, like we brought him in for Major 4, and um, our online stint was pretty good. Like we end up, I think we beat FaZe online, and we went into the tournament with a bit of confidence as well. And we picked up him and Capsidal, and Chris is like a really good like plug and play player. Like he just fits the system and does what's right for the team. He tries his hardest to play for the win, and he has some really good moments while doing it. Um, and then like Kyler is like Kyler's crazy. He's like a human UAV. Um, and I'm glad now that like in scrims he was literally a human UAV for us. And I'm glad now, like when you listen into Optic and stuff, like you can hear that side of him like come out a lot
Yes.
more, and it feels like he's like the leader of that team in a lot of aspects in game. Um, and that is like probably to your point, like probably if that roster stuck it out throughout the season, then maybe we could have got some like better results.
I would have much rather
Um,
had them like stick it out. I mean, obviously it's hindsight, seeing how like the other
yeah,
team
it's
did,
super
because
hindsight.
the other team like had like a lot of promise. But if that team stuck it out, I mean, they could have done something. I mean, and it's MW2. I mean, like the game already alone was also
Yeah, yeah,
pretty fluky anyway. But yeah, they probably could have did something. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. Like knowing where like Kyler is now and where Travis is now, like the type of players they've turned out to be, like it makes sense. Like in hindsight, to say, look, if that roster stuck it out, then maybe it would have worked. Especially with the way that they see COD and like the way they see practice and how to get better as a team. Like it's definitely
Yeah, like that
it's
trio
it's it's definitely
especially.
not like a quick thing with them. Like Kyler's thing is all about like repetitions with your team and like chemistry on the map. Like it flows together, and you just build that through reps. But at the point that we were at, like there was other factors as well, like out of game issues that like the organization just had, and our performances just weren't good enough. So we just had to make changes basically. Um, and yeah, we ended up picking the academy players up, and we started off pretty good with them. Um, and I think like every team has a moment, especially when you make changes and you're like you've made a change to try and get better. And I feel like every team in the league has a moment where they play a team that is um like a tester, like a real big tester for them.
Yeah.
Um, so ours was we played FaZe. We started off pretty good online. We played FaZe. We went to map 5. We were 5-2 up, or 5-1 up maybe. And we ended up losing it. It was LS CeeLo S&D. We ended up losing it 6-5. Game 5 round 11, and I feel like that moment was like the turn of the gear for that team, and it went against us unfortunately on the day. And instead, it just changed the dynamic of the way our practice was going. It changed the way that the team was evolving. And we just ended up regressing. We couldn't pick it up after that really. Um, which is unfortunate. And then you also just had again like organizational issues that came from that. The organization like blew up very publicly in the middle of the year. Um, so that led to a lot of like obscurity with the team. And like with our futures. So it definitely became a tough challenge during that year, because like I was working from London, and I remember um I remember like the year I signed off working from London, and the way they described it was like 2 times in the year we're gonna bring you out. You're gonna come out a week before like major 2. You're gonna come out a week before major 4, or maybe it was 5 because there was 5 majors that year. And we're gonna bring you out a week before so that you can like boot camp with the team, and like we can see how you are with the team, so that when you go over to next year, it can like help your case in moving over to the States full time. Um, and I remember like pushing to get my flight sorted for that week before we went to major 3 or 2, and I ended up getting my flight. Like I remember there was like a lot of like back and forth about it, but then I remember getting my flight like last second, And I'm pretty sure that Ricky, like, who was our GM at the time, like paid out of his pocket a little bit of that.
Wow.
Which like I'm super grateful for, because like he didn't need to do that at all, but I think he did do that. And yeah, I'm about to get on my flight, and the day before I get on it, I'm like packing my bags. We find out the news that like the organization just like let go of everyone, other than the team. So I fly into this office. My flight is still there. I fly into the office. My boot camp is still happening, and like the office just was empty. I was like expecting to go into like this bustling team, like pushing forward, and the office was empty. It was like a super weird time.
How did you feel?
It just felt a bit eerie, I think. But I wanted to do the most to like. I remember like going there, and I wanted to do the most to still prove that like, you don't know what's gonna happen next year. Like maybe there's a reasoning behind all of this, and
Of course.
maybe they stay. So like you just really show out and prove why you need to be there. But yeah, then we kind of just ended the year terribly, to say the least. And yeah, I mean, the only real thing that I remember from that event, from that year, is Marky B like subbing in, which was like a roller coaster of a day, and I would live that day 100 times over, because it was like a movie. Like we were meant to like play with Alec, and then Alec was like having some hand issues, and like playing through pain. So like we're setting up on the stage to play, and Alec is like trying to tough it out and trying to like, yeah, I'll play, like I'm gonna play. So we told Alec like, if the pain is too strong, you need to like give us a code word. Like I had the headset on my head, and I told him a code word, which I forgot what it was, but if he like commed this code word, it basically meant like we're gonna have to sub him out, because the league rules are you can't make a sub after the map ends. You have to notify the league that you're gonna do it during the map.
Okay.
And I think that's because they need time to like set up the stream or whatever. They need time to like prepare for that as well.
Yeah.
So we needed to give Alec a code word in the middle of this map one hard point, and we end up playing Vegas, and map one we're just getting fried. Like they are cooking us, and Alec is just saying this code word, and the players are like, what's going on? So I like the map ends, and I get the headset, and I'm like, look, Alec is like just he's in a lot of pain, so we're gonna substitute him out. And the plan was to bring like Neptune onto playing with the team. Unfortunately, like Neptune wasn't able to play, but we brought Neptune and didn't bring Spart, who they were both still signed as substitutes. Like we brought Neptune from the hotel, didn't bring Spart, so Neptune turns up, but then he's not able to play. So
Oh, I didn't even know there were substitutes. I actually had no idea.
yeah, they were still substitutes.
Okay.
And then we call Spart to come to the venue. And I remember like Ricky was like, it's over, like we can't do anything. Like, Mark's on the stage, like it's over. By the time he gets here, it'll be 3 maps. Like there's no point bringing this guy. Like he's got a challengers tournament to play. Like let's just leave him to it. And I was like, no, like you need to bring him, like please. Like me and Mayhem were just sitting in the back, like just call him, like bring him here. Like we need to book this Uber. And I remember running to the stage, getting the headset, and being like, Chris is gonna come if like we just need to win 1 map, and Chris will be here. Just take 1 map, and he'll be here. So we played the S&D with Marky B, and we played Hotel. And Mark's job on defense was to just go to kitchen, because there's 2 doorways. You just have to snake it. So just delay, Mark. If you see them coming, just delay. Like snake the fuck out of it. Hopefully you win 1, and hopefully the team fly and like read the situation, and they're here to help you. But whenever like the CDL kept going to Mark's POV, as you would,
Yeah.
and
just
the
pure
crowd would go
storyline.
crazy every time that someone was about to walk into Marky B's like iron. The crowd was going crazy, so Mark thought that meant that he was about to die. So he was turning away from like where he's about to get this kill, and he'd turn away from it and die. And
Oh, he's just tweaking.
we end up getting 6-0'd, and he went 0-6, I think.
Yeah.
And then we play the control and we end up winning it, and that's like the best feeling I've ever felt. Other than like, or one of, I wouldn't say the best feeling. It's one of the best feelings I've ever felt. Like winning a map backstage was winning with Marky B, just because I knew like it meant that Chris was coming back on, and like
There's still a
we
chance.
just did the impossible. Yeah. So that was crazy. That like whole day, and
That's-
then like the other thing that I remember from that year is just like pick up scrimming optic at the Toronto event with Octane. And we ended up like 100-point clubbing them on Fortress, which they were like unbeaten on. And we just kept 100-point clubbing them on it.
That's crazy.
And I actually like sent Dan a picture of that the other week. But,
Probably like, yeah,
'cause I
we're not even
found it like in my
trying.
photos. He was like, I was sick that day. I was like,
And I mean,
but yeah.
it's probably not even worth talking about like the rest of that year. Like after, I mean, even after like the Marquee B, I think that's probably like the highlight. That's probably like,
Yeah,
just-
after that we just fluked out. Like we got top 12 at the next two events. And the year was basically over.
yeah.
After that we didn't make it to champs.
I mean,
But then-
honestly, even though it's like completely hindsight, I don't even know. But like that honestly could have been part of like Joe Deceives' character development, is like going through like year like that. So I mean, everything does work out for a reason, because now he's the player who he is now.
I 100%. Like every player learns from every situation, right? Joe is like,
Not every player.
okay,
but like most.
no, I think every player do, like they should at least.
I would hope so.
But Joe is like a phenomenal talent, and
He's everything. Exactly like you said before. He's everything.
yeah, he kind of just, I don't want to gas him too much because he's on an opposing team, but yeah, I mean he's just come leaps and bounds from where he was when I worked with him to where he is now. But even when I worked with him, like you could see that he was going to reach the levels of where he is now. Like it was no doubt in my mind that he would be who he is. Like it's no surprise. But I'm just glad that he's like fulfilling that potential, because there's a lot of players who will join like a bad team or a lower tier team and you don't see them live out that potential. I'm so glad that Joe is like able to prove that he's like one of the best players in the league and able to show out with his talent, because he faced a lot of adversity that first year, especially he was like picked up without ever playing challenges.
Yeah.
And he dominated the fuck out of challenges like immediately, and then got into the league and didn't have a good year, but then like went over to this like LAT young team situation, and they kept losing to LAG every season and every major, which was like really good for me. And then they ended up having a good end to the year, which was good for Joe. And like Toronto kind of saw the same thing that we saw at LAG, and they invested in him, and it's paying off. And I have no doubt that Joe's going to win a tournament one day, and
Oh yeah.
I have no doubt that he'll probably get a ring at some point as well.
multiple
has the talent
time fucking world champ, I think. If he's in like the right, if he's in the right scenarios on the right teams, I actually
He should be.
We'll say that,
He should
yeah.
be.
And like, I'm pretty sure. I know Abe was there. Like I know like Abizi was there, but I think it's also RCD's. Like they found him. Like RC's and Abe found him in an MW2 rank game. So crazy.
Yeah.
There's probably like a lot of talent out there in ranked. Who knows, man? God damn.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah,
But-
Joe's a special one.
Yeah, he's him. And I was actually on the camp. It was another I wasn't quite wrong because I didn't predict his whole career, but at the time I was like, why are they playing with like this rank kid? Like this guy literally just came from rank. Like why does this guy even have a chance? Like there's like way better players, you know. I was in that camp at first, but
that was like the narrative, but he wasn't actually he was a ranked kid, but he wasn't. Like I remember being in challenges in Vanguard, and Joe was picking, like he was filling in for top challenger teams
I didn't even know that.
when like they couldn't get a fourth. Like Joe would fill in for them randomly and like scrim like top challenger teams.
Huh.
But he was also the number one ranked kid.
Yeah.
And that's when like Doug like was making videos about being number one, and Joe was like beating him to it. But yeah, Joe was like he was just an underager that played, and people saw the talent in him, and he just kind of climbed the ranks very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much MW2.
Yeah.
But after like the major one, like you guys had hopes for like that team, like so like were there any goals when like you picked up like that team after our cities like Neptune, or was it just like trying to do better than like we did before?
Well, I think like leaning back into the idea of like when I joined, we really like I really saw it as I was joining under Marky B, under a really like established organization
Actually, I guess
that
with the
had
analyst,
like
yeah.
good financial backing. So like the way I saw it, and I don't remember how like we saw it overall, but especially the way that I saw it was like, if we can develop Joe, and then also we pulled up like other two players from the academy, but if we can develop Joe and we had RCs as well at the time, like the idea was we could potentially be building a team to compete in the
Oh
next
yeah,
season or
yeah,
seasons to come, right? So like
Yes.
no
yeah. It's not a
like
bad
no
idea.
team just instantly competes straight away. I feel like it's really rare for that to happen. Like you have like for super team forms, on quote unquote super team forms. But like Toronto, I'll use them as an example. Like the first real like iteration of Toronto, like every single substitute that they had like made it to their starting roster. And at one point their starting roster was a team of um their former substitutes. So you had like Kleenex who started on the bench in the MW year, then Insight started on the bench, Hixie started on the bench, Scrap started on the bench for Ultra. And so like that's an organization that like found talent, took it under their wing, like kept it while letting the talent develop a little bit, bringing it in at the right time around the right pieces.
Hmm.
Um, and then they ended up making a champs final with a team that they signed completely as substitutes. So like I really take a lot of like inspiration from the way that Ultra run their teams. Because like I said before, like they leave like a lasting legacy. Like whoever's on Ultra, it could be whoever it is, like any mix of four players, and maybe even like if the coaches were to change. But I feel like the coach have done such a good job, and the organization in general of like creating this legacy. When you join Ultra, you know what kind of team you're joining. You know what the standards are going to be, performance wise, communication wise, as a teammate. Like, so I
Hmm.
feel like they've done a really good job of implementing that um into their organization, and I think like it'd be so dumb of me to like not take inspiration from that and try and do something similar, or try and like take some of the best bits that I see from that and bring it over.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, that year actually is kind of like a head scratcher because I actually thought you guys had great pieces like that year, like academy and main roster, even like mix and matching. But you guys had like good pieces, and you know, like
Yeah,
sometimes like things just don't work out.
yeah.
So now we're gonna get into MW3, and MW3. You're pretty much on the exact same team, so like obviously like the organization thinking it's done, but I guess like they come back. I mean, you could probably like explain that, and they pick up Veohz as a head coach, and then
Yeah.
Veohz brings you on, or how does like that one?
So the Challengers World Championship is where I worked with Veohz, and my brother, and then me and Veohz continued to work together with with the MW2 year, Because when I signed on as an analyst, I signed on to do both the main team and the academy team. So I would do like I'd be with the main team every day, but then I would wake up in the morning in London and I would fill in what I would um go and like do the academy stuff while they were asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So like Veohz would like message me like, can you work on this, for example? And when I wake up in the morning, I'll have a look at it, and then if like I'll show the players this, or like we talk often about like what are you guys seeing at pro level, and then I'd also ask him like what are you seeing at like challengers level? Like, are you guys doing anything unique that maybe other teams aren't doing? Um, but that's where like we continued to work together, but from a little bit of a distance. Like it still wasn't like in complete unison, but we kept our like bond together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I mean the season ended with LAG, um, and it was all just up in the air about what was happening to that LAG team.
Yeah, that's another way to
And
phrase it. Yeah.
like nobody really knew like what was going on. But then like I think like a week before the game came out, I was planning on like sticking with Marky B and working through challenges. And we were gonna do like the European scene with Bance, Beans,
Okay.
um, Nasty, and I think Hixie.
Hmm.
So it was like meant to be like the EU challenges team that was gonna like win basically every event. Like
Everything.
we thought like
Yeah.
we had a really good team.
You God Squad.
And then yeah, Vio's just like texted me and my brother and was like, "Yo, we need to jump into a call." Where he basically described like he been approached to like run the LAG team. They liked what he was doing with the academy, um, his like idea and his mindset of like a culture first team, um, and like giving a young coach the opportunity to like run a team from scratch. And he just spoke to me and my brother about like joining that and being a part of that team and what roster he should build basically, or we should build. Um, so like things moved pretty quickly. In all honesty, we ended up like picking up the roster that we did. We picked up 5 players, which was we started with Assault, Diamond Con, Fame, Estriel, and we had Flames as the sub. Um, Estriel and Flames were like lesser known quantities.
Yes.
They were known in the challenger space, especially towards the end of the year where they really started to like pop off and perform well. They made a final at like the Toronto event the year prior. They lost to like the Awoba Bobs team, which was like the Abuser Challengers team. And going into champs where I wasn't there with LAG, I was helping out their team. So I got to like experience their work firsthand. And like I was super high on Justice and Flames on Jay. Um so we built the team of like veteranship, but also with these like 2 pieces that we knew were like untapped potential and players that like we could build in and take a little bit of a risk on. Um, and that year was, I mean, it was the best season that I've had to date. We came in a week before the game came out. Everyone else's teams was built, so it was our job to like build a team from quote unquote the scraps of whatever was left.
Yeah, that's
And our
hard.
goal for the season was, it was like really clear, at least from like where everyone's public perception was, that there was going to be like a top 4, and then our goal was to be like the 5th best team. Like if we prove that we're like the 5th best team, then like we prove that we can compete with the top 4 as well on our day, but we are just like better than the rest. Like a lot of inspiration from Formula One in that aspect, where they have like a bunch of teams and like you have the teams competing for the championship, but then you have the teams that are like the better than everyone else.
Yeah.
So that was like our goal, just to prove that these players belonged in the league, deserve to be in the league, deserve to be in opportunities that were better than the one they were currently in on this LAG situation. And I think we did like a really good job. Like off the looking back at it, we had a really successful year. We were the fifth best placing team on LAN across the season, and we finished sixth in the standings
It's actually
on a
pretty-
tiebreaker on points. So for like that team to do that at the start of the season, like nobody would have predicted it.
Yeah.
We ended up placing top six twice at the first two lands, um, and then we got top three at Major Four as well. So throughout the regular season, like we just consistently showed out that we were like a team that was here to compete and a team that was there to go along. We were also a remote team, so we were doing it completely online, and that's probably where we saw a lot of our frustrations with our online performances. But then when we got to LAN, we like made sure it counted, and like to finish in the top six seeds and to be the fifth best team on LAN, when we were so bad online and we faced so many like issues. That's a year that I'm so like proud of, for like from everyone from top to bottom. And Brenda, who was our GM, she just gave us like complete trust, and we'd meet with her weekly to like ask her for help and stuff, because we were all young new coaches. Me and my brother had a year of experience, both as analysts, and Veohz, it was his first year in the league, so she was like a massive guiding light for us in terms of how we should operate. She was never like overstepping or telling us what to do. We would just go to her with our issues, and she'd be like a good think tank for us in order to help us like work through problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Veohz, is he like your closest coaching friend, I guess you could say, like in like the Steam level, would you say? Because like just from everything I've heard, like it seems like you guys have like a really good like dynamic.
I think like it's weird because like I feel like everyone that I've worked with as a coach, like I've such a strong relationship with every single person still. Like I talk to Marky B, Mayhem, Veohz, and Accuracy. Like I talk to them every day or like really often. Like still. And Veohz is like, I feel like I like lean into those relationships for different things. It's easy to be like, yeah, like we are really close friends, like but yeah, I mean, like he's probably the person I've spent the most time with, just because we had like 2 years back to back.
Yeah.
But then even still, like I've like I talked to Marky B like weekly for the last 3 years, and Lamar, like I can't really, like I don't have enough good things to say about him really. Like I see Lamar as like my big brother, so I mean, yes and no. Like I feel like I have a really good relationship with everyone.
All right, this is kind of just a question like for me, because I don't know why I love shit like this, but like, are there ever nights where it's just like you three coaches in a call and you have like a gameplay up and you guys are just like yapping about the gameplay, like, oh, like we should be doing this, we should be doing that. Like, is there like a lot of that? And also, follow-up question, just for people who don't know, majority of the time you're remote. So like, how is it being remote, and do you feel if you could be more in person, that you'd be able to get more out of everything?
Okay, so to answer the second question first, the like remote question, I like my like thing is I want to be in person at some point. Like if it makes sense, that's what I want to like that's what I want to happen.
Of course.
And I 100% think that like in person I'd be like able to bring more as well. Not that I don't, like I'm comfortable as well in the way of which remote works. The reason being, like I feel like at LAN tournaments I like go up a gear. Like I can feel it, that it's like a different level. And maybe that's like a thing of because I'm not with the team every day, so when I'm there it like feels different.
It's like a pay-per-view. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 100%. Like, I like want to be in person, whenever possible. But with remote, I feel like super comfortable with it. It's something at first that like I really didn't like. You have to get used to it. Like, there's still to this day, like you have a team that's in person and you're remote. Like when they win a match, the first thing players do is take off their headset, stand up, and walk off. I've got like a million clips of me like screaming into the mic to myself, like, and then like a player will hear me and like put the headset on and be like, "Let's fucking go!" Like, I'm like, yeah, like that's good. But like, I mean, I've come to live in like with the good and the bad because there is good, right? Like I get to still be around my family. I get to still be around my friends, my girlfriend. We get to like, um, I get my daytime. Whereas,
Yeah.
in North America, like you don't get your daytime, but maybe you get your nights. But I mean, a little bit of it, right? Um, so like for me, there's like good and bad to both sides of it. And it is really good because I'm someone who doesn't really know when to switch off. Um, and like my biggest thing is like if someone texts me or someone calls me, like I've got this like thing where I have to be available at all times. Um, but being remote like has helped me work on making sure that I'm like available at the right moments, making sure I'm taking the right time out to spend with my friends and family and like building those personal relations as well. And just making myself like mentally a stronger person too, because because when you're alone and things are going wrong and you're like not able to talk to someone because everyone else is asleep, like you have to really work through things by yourself, and then you wake up and you come to conclusions with everyone. But I'm kind of used to it. And my sleeping pattern was like adjusted a little bit to American time as well. So,
Yeah, I can
yeah,
tell.
yeah,
I can tell it is.
literally, yeah.
Um,
The first question was, do we ever get into like, do you mean like coaches on the same team,
actually, I mean, I already.
like without the players?
Actually, I mean, I already know you guys do. Yeah, like without the players, like if all the coaches like just like getting
100%, right?
like how
that's what you have to do.
fun is that? Is that like fun or is it like
Nah, what a, it's funny, but it's not fun. Because you the times that happens, often, like it does happen when things are good, but like it happens a lot when things are bad too, right? Like you guys
Yeah.
are trying to come up with solutions and figure things out, and sometimes it starts from like someone just being so mad that they'll pull up like a VOD, and you guys are going through it, and they're just angry, like just raging as they go through this, and you're like trying to diffuse the situation and like see the good side of like the funny side of it, but you're also trying to fix the problem.
Yeah.
And then it leads on to like a 2 hour VOD session where then you come out of it, you're like, okay, now we know what we're gonna do going forward. Um, I remember like the MW 3 year, my brother like just messaged me and Veohz and was like, we need to sit down. It was like usually take the Mondays off, but he messaged on like the Sunday, like tomorrow we are sitting down. We were like, what the fuck's going on? And he just told us like our flow is completely wrong. We were like, no, what are you talking about? Like you're not, like we're not making sense. But then he shows us like all these examples of our flow being wrong and what it should be. And so we end up going into like a 1 to 2 hour conversation on like what we should look like on the map. And like one thing that I think that LAG team did do, like we tried and we probably did, like we played the game correctly. And usually when you're a bottom tier team, like you struggle to get scrims against the top teams consistently.
Yeah.
Like they won't scrim you every single time. You won't have a week where you're scrimming like that year. Like you wouldn't have had a week where you're scrimming like New York, Optic, FaZe, and who was the other fourth team? Ultra. Like you wouldn't have had a week where you were like scrimming all of them. But we had that like quite often. And like Troy would always be like, yeah, we don't mind scrimming you guys because you guys play the game correctly. So like, why would we not play you guys? And like that's probably why we end up seeing some success on LAN, because when you get to LAN, playing correctly is ultimately what's going to lead to wins and consistency. Whereas like
100%.
online's a little bit more random. People are like, they take a timing that they usually won't take on LAN or something like that. But or maybe like the comms aren't as tight as they should be compared like online compared to LAN, especially when our players aren't next to each other.
Yes.
So like that conversation that my brother had where he was like, our flow is completely wrong. Like we end up just diving into it and just going through it. But yeah, I mean that happens all the time. You go through VOD and you want to talk about stuff. I feel like that should happen. One thing for like coaching staff to be is like on the same page. The coaching staffs that like have issues are the ones that most likely like aren't on the same page. Like a coach will bring up a point and then the other coach is arguing against that point. Then your players are just like not even involved in a conversation at that point. You want to be on the same side as coaches, approach the players with a solution, or approach the players with like a conversation starter, and maybe the players will get to that solution themselves and you don't need to interject. Or maybe they're a little bit lost and you guide them a little bit. But yeah, I mean, your coaching staff, you want them to be on the same page for sure.
I guess that's why like recruitment is so important, because you want to recruit people that like sort of see the game like the same way as you, to an extent.
Yeah. Like it's good to be challenged. It's good to have people that see the game differently. But ultimately, you do want to see people like that think the same way about the game. Like I remember, I know we're like on MW3, but I remember like Lamar, like when I spoke to Lamar about the game or whenever we'd have conversations, like I'd always just leave the conversation and I would tell him like this is sick because I just like I get everything you say. Like sometimes Lamar would say things that I conditioned myself to not think because I didn't think it was the right way to think.
Yeah.
And then Lamar, who's like so accomplished, would say it, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like I do think like that about situations. Like I think like an example that comes to my mind is like I remember bringing up a point to Lamar about something a player did, and I was like, they could have made it better. Like they shouldn't have done this. They should have like bumped this guy off and gone to here instead, but they defaulted to where they always go. And I remember Lamar saying like, in this situation, I would rather them do the same thing 9 times out of 10 and it works than try and get it perfect and it only works 4 times out of 10.
You're probably
And I
like,
remember
what
just
the
thinking like, I agree. Like that's how I think too. But it's so easy, like in COD, to think you need to make the right play all the time. You need to be perfect all the time. Like you have to make the right decision, otherwise the play is not right. Can you make the play better? Can you make the play perfect? But in some situations and in a lot of them, like no, I'd rather just have consistency, because that's what's gonna like lead to replicable match situations, and that's what's gonna lead to your team like winning maps on a consistent basis. But then when there's opportunities to be perfect and punish teams, like take them.
Well, MW3 ends, and you guys have a pretty, you guys have a good year. You guys, I'm not gonna say overachieve, but you got actually.
No, it's fair. We did. We overachieved. We overachieved to what the standards of what we were set.
Overachieved to what you're.
I have no shame in saying that. I'm proud of that. To be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's some people that say otherwise, but
we fluked out at champs, and like that is like the one sour bit, which is like we did all that work to get to champs, and like prove people wrong, and we went in as the 6th seed and we got lost, and like that's the sour taste to it. Like we did it, and a lot of people are like, "What's the point of going to champs if you get dead last?" But like there's a lot more to it than just getting to champs, right? Like we had a good season. And if there was EWC that year, which there was actually, but we didn't go to it, like we didn't get a chance to go and compete at EWC with that team. So yeah, but yeah, moving on.
MW3 ends. MW3 ends. You have another good year of getting some more repetition, learning to develop players, and now Dante, my good friend Dante, has the keys to the castle on Cloud9. He's the only one there at the moment. He brings our cities. He brings Mac. He brings Kremp. He brings Attach. Where do you come in?
Again, I joined once the team was already formed. My off season post the LAG year 2 was terrible, to be honest. Like, for the success that the LAG team had that I like touched on, the only two people that managed to find opportunities the next season was Estriel as a player, and myself as a coach. And I remember like I couldn't get an interview. I couldn't get any calls with anyone to find an opportunity. Like I wasn't getting ignored, but I was getting like just like shooed off, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
And I remember just like being super frustrated about it. I couldn't get anything to go, so I just made my own like interview. I made my own video. I made it like super concise, so like 15 minutes or so, and I sent it to like the solo coaches of the league, and just said like, look, if you're looking for someone to help your coaching staff, like here's like watch this video, like take your time out your day. And luckily, like for me, after I sent that video, I think within like 48 hours, like 3 of the teams that I sent it to, like progressed in conversation and wanted to like speak more with me. So that was great. And then Lamar, like especially, watched the video, and we end up getting into like a 2-hour conversation, or a few like hours of conversation, like for a few days. And yeah, I ended up like joining C9. But again, it's like all thanks to Lamar for doing a similar thing that Marky B did, which was like just giving opportunities to people that they don't necessarily know, taking time out of their day to like watch something that someone sent them. I think Lamar said like the reason that I sent him a video, I didn't just send a random DM. Like I just like sent a video showing my work ethic, showing like the things that I can do for the team. And the way that I made like personalized videos, and the way that I made the video for Lamar was, I've had the experience as an analyst, I've had the experience as an assistant coach. I want to have another year as an assistant coach where I'm gonna pick up like the analytical work as well. And it was Lamar's first year coaching, but he's always been like a player coach. So my role and what I pitched to Lamar was, I'm gonna make sure that you do like everything you're good at and everything that you should be doing, like you just do that and I'll focus on the rest. Like block out everything else, like I've got it.
That's really good.
That was like my pitch for like the way that we were gonna work. And he, yeah, I mean we the more we spoke about stuff, like the more it just made sense. I ended up joining C9, and I had like an offer from a different team. But I ended up going with the C9 team because I just thought the players that I could work with, and especially working with Lamar, like was just an opportunity that I didn't want to pass up on. I'd gone from working like, no disrespect to like the LAG players that I worked with the year before, but like working with like Attach and Sib.
Oh yeah, like you're moving up. Yeah.
And
It's
even
like
Mac, like who are winners. They've won events. So I felt like, you know, I was gonna learn and really progress like in what I wanted to do. So I took that opportunity to work with those guys, and that's when I joined the team. The team was already formed, and I joined pretty much like a couple of weeks before the game releases again. And we just dived straight in, and we were really good at the start, like really, really good. And I remember like my brother didn't get an opportunity on a team, and I remember just speaking to him and saying like we're really fucking good. Like I think we can like compete. And then we had like that first weekend, and it's almost like the similar thing of like the gear thing that I talked about, where we played Phase on in MW2. Like that first weekend, we played Thieves and Optic, and we had this like forfeit scandal.
On like bad internet as well.
Yeah.
They're the two best
Like
teams on bad internet.
we were playing like two Texas teams on Chicago and the teams based in LA. So like for anyone who doesn't understand geography, like Chicago is to get to Chicago from LA, you have to go through Texas. So it's like, why would we play a Texas team
You have to
on
go
something
all
further
across the
away
land.
than Texas? Like, so we were just mind blown by that whole situation, and I feel like our practice was so good leading up to that, but then that moment, like right after that, our practice just again literally regressed, like for better or for worse, or like for whatever reason I don't know. Um, but yeah, we ended up going 1-6, major one.
Yeah.
And like the SMGs were firing on all cylinders. Like Mac just come off a year break and he was frying. Kremp was like really good across all modes, but especially S&D. Like I was so impressed by his ability to like be like a takeover S&D player and a leader in S&D as well. He was like rivaling Abizi's numbers in first bloods and stuff, which is like no easy feat because Abizi's just the best at doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember after Major One, we had like a really big sit down as a team, just talking about like the dynamics of the team, like why it's not working, what we're not doing correctly. We just weren't playing for the win as much as we thought we were. Not that we were kill whoring, but we weren't being efficient. And I think like I ended up talking to like some like league analysts in terms of like you know the Twitter page guy, for like lack of better words, but like the Twitter page guys that will tweet stats and stuff about the games. So like
Yeah.
Decaf4 is the one that I spoke to a lot. He was tweeting out like efficiency of teams. So I just like had a lot of conversations about him, of like the efficiency of our team and where we sit. And then looking at our like scrim data to compare it with our match data. And we just weren't an efficient team. We were like bottom of the league for efficiency, which is basically like how many kills you get compared to how many points you score, like, or like how many kills does it take you to get 1 point.
Yeah, like not making the most of
And
your kills. Like pretty much.
exactly. And we basically just set the goal of being a super efficient team for Major 2. And as well as like our 2 ARs were ranked like bottom of the league for hill time. So we were like, this doesn't make sense flow wise, like it's not adding up. So impressively, we end Major 2 as like the first or second most efficient team in the league from the worst in the prior stage, and we end with Attach as from like the worst hill time in the league. He had the number 1 hill time in the entire league for stage 2. So like I definitely felt like Major 2 we like showed out that we were a better team and we'd improved so much. But then ultimately where our season just kind of ends is that next step. Like we almost killed, like looking back at it, we almost like killed our style of play for this like uber efficient style of play, which made sense to do. Like we had to tear down what we built and rebuild it. But then the next step, once you're super efficient and once you're like winning matches and winning maps in the way that you should, the next step is how do you actually punish teams? Because when you play like Thieves and FaZe, which we ended up playing them like 33% of the time, we play them so much.
Oh yeah.
But like if you're not punishing them, you're just giving them too many opportunities to come back into the game, which is like where I feel like we lost against them every single time. Like we'd have really good series and we'd play well for like half a hard point, but we just kept that door open for too long when we should have punished like FaZe. And the next step is punishing teams, and we just never got that bit correct. We never like were able to take that next step, which is just why like when people talk about the C9 team, like you can't really pinpoint as to like who was bad or what was bad or like Like you don't hear the usual critiques of teams. Like we just weren't a good team. We weren't doing the like we just couldn't take the next step as a team to go and win matches and punish people, which everyone else was taking that step to do a lot earlier than us. So we were just behind.
So, since this podcast is mostly about you, or basically all about you, I'm curious on your perspective. So, in previous years, you're on LAG, and with all due respect,
Yeah.
compared to Cloud9, lower skilled players,
Right.
and so your expectation on most of those years was almost like overachieving, progressing, like being like the best of the rest. And now you're on a Cloud9 team, and I'm assuming, I can't speak for you because you're going to answer, you're probably thinking you're on a team where we could actually, like, we got some great pieces to actually, I'm not going to say win, maybe like you guys thought win, which isn't out of like the realm of possibility, especially at the beginning, but you think you could actually be up there with like the big dogs.
Yeah.
So were you more, I forgot what my end question was, but were you more like disappointed that you didn't achieve that, or did you already have like the mindset from previous years where just being like the best of the rest, if that makes sense?
No, like I think like massively disappointed. Like you kind of summed it up, right? Like when you're like the sky's the limit on any team you're on. When you first join it, right? But you're also not stupid to know like what time period like this team was built. If you're the last team to build a team, you're not gonna like the likely chances are you're not gonna be the team that's winning every single event or making finals of every single event, right?
Yeah.
Like otherwise, everyone else is just so stupid, which isn't the case. So, like realistically, all right, we might struggle to like compete or make Sundays, but with like those situations, I'd always felt like, like whenever you get wins, like celebrate the wins as much as you can, like keep riding the momentum, like keep improving, and like it's really like an upward trajectory. But with the C9 team, like I joined it with the mindset, and everyone on the team had the mindset of we want to be good, like we want to compete and we want to compete fast and we want to start off as a really good team. I think other people had us as a top 4 team as well. Like we went to the Ksan land, which was like the top 4 teams on paper, and C9 was the one that was invited as the 4th team. Like people couldn't figure out who the 4th best team was going to be.
Yeah, it was a team like you as an Ultra at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, us Ultra, like maybe people had Surge as well, but like less so. But like even Ultra was like one of the teams.
I know at the beginning. Wait. I think you're confusing the Neptune team. I think when they had Hixie, like they were more towards like.
They were like, no, yeah. I thought they were like mid pack, but they fair enough.
Okay, I guess. Oh yeah, okay, I guess
because they had a Bruiser and 04 still.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even like us in Toronto, like fighting for that 4th spot, and we just didn't do that once throughout the season. So it was like super, like just terrible, like a terrible feeling, like not being able to compete when you're expecting it.
Yeah.
And also like looking back, like on myself, like it's not even like these aren't even conversations that I had, but like looking back on myself, like there was definitely like an element of myself, like Major 1, for example. I remember thinking like, we don't necessarily need to change anything because of the players that we're working with. Like when you have a team, you look at them for like the best versions of themselves, and you think, I'm gonna get the best version out of this player. Like that's my goal as a coach. So when we weren't performing well, I was just looking at it as like, I need to find out the best how to get the best version of these players. And I wasn't really thinking like we definitely need to make a change, or like we definitely need to do something. Which like maybe that's because I thought like highly of the players, like so highly that I thought this team could really compete. And maybe that's like a learning curve for myself as well, like knowing when you probably have the opportunity to like make a change, or knowing when you should make a change. Yeah.
Is it stressful in situations like that when you are remote and let's say it's like after like a game things aren't going well and like you kind of wish you could be there in person because like they obviously can't be on the headset all the time, like, you know, like
Um, this past year, no, not really, because I think C&I did a lot of things to make sure that I felt like I wasn't isolated in a lot of situations. Like,
oh, okay.
um, especially like Lamar, like Lamar would just keep me in the loop with everything, for one, which was great. But also like, for example, um, the after matches review, like after every single match, we would review the game, win or lose, and like it'd be just like this, where like the players were sat on a sofa, and they were looking at the TV. The TV was like the Discord screen of me, and I would share screen the Discord, or Lamar would share the Discord to me, and I'd see it. But like our after match reviews is like they're all in a room, and I'm on Discord, and they can see me or they can hear me, but I
that's
can
cool.
see them.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking to them, I can see the body language. I can see like what's happening. So I didn't feel isolated in those moments at all.
That's great.
And then again, like when you have like Lamar just kept me in the loop with everything. If I had a question, he'd just let me know, or he'd like occasionally go on like, you know, just leave the house, like go on a walk for 20 minutes. Like we'd probably do it weekly, and he'd just like go for a walk, and we'd call and just discuss how things were going. And when you have good communication with your like coaching staff or with everyone in the organization, you're not really gonna feel out of the loop on those moments.
And second
But
last
it can be frustrating.
yeah,
if you want.
you're just like, oh man, I just wish you could just be there. It's always like nice for like to be there.
Yeah,
But yeah, but I mean, like that's great for accuracy for doing his best like to keep you in the loop.
Yeah.
Second last question about Black Ops 6. This is more of a question for me. The Vault
Okay.
S&D over and over and over and over and over
Yeah.
again. Lots of
Yeah.
winnable positions on Vault S&D, like to like the point where it's like your guys' record was like, I mean, I don't know the exact number, but like at the time, let's say it was like
1-7.
it was like 1-7, but like the statistic didn't really show. Like you guys should have been like
Kept losing around 11s. Yeah.
you guys could have quite frankly been like undefeated on that map. But what was the deal with Vault Search and Destroy?
Yeah. So Vault Search and Destroy was like straight kryptonite. For the worst reasons, and like, do you want to get like nerdy with it, or
Yeah,
no?
man.
Because,
Yeah,
like,
let's
I
get
know,
nerdy. This is Analyst shit.
I like know the issue. So Vault early stages, the way it was played was like we did it whenever. All right, let me go back a step. Whenever we'd play Vault, we'd play it against certain teams, other than Minnesota Rocker, who like we were kind of forced to play it against them. And that was one of their better maps. Like whenever we never really like let Vault slide in, or I don't remember us picking it that often. Maybe I'm wrong, but just from memory, like it wasn't a map that we'd pick, but we'd leave it like to sit there, and maybe it'd be like the third or fourth choice map for us. But the thing with Vault, especially early doors, like the way we played it, at least, or tried to play it, was based a lot on like opposition prep, and in short, whenever you'd plant that bomb, it was like a bomb that would always get planted. And if your two ARs were sitting outside of the bomb, we basically would take that information and say, right, if we give up the plant, we're gonna like quickly go and take the site. Or we might say, instead of taking the site, we're gonna go and hunt for like Slasher on P2. Like whenever they plant, just like leave them in the site. Let's go hunt down Slasher, kill him P2, because then he can't check the bomb defuse afterwards, and then we'll take the site. or maybe we'd play like Ultra, and we'd say just take the site, leave Scrap, and like force him to try and check it late. But then Volt evolved into everyone stacking the site, and Rocker were like the best team for this. They would stack like 3 or 4 people. They would have like perfect trophy placements to where you couldn't
Absolutely
like
nerdy with it. Yeah.
you know, like whenever you plant it, like the team would go and look and like try and shoot the trophy, then throw the nades. Like they had perfect trophy placement, so you couldn't shoot the trophy. You couldn't throw your nades in. There was double stacking trophies in there. It was impossible, like literally mathematically impossible to break into it.
4
So
SMGs
we'd
too.
lose it to them. Yeah, 4 SMGs as well, and we'd like in short, our 2 issues on that map was, one, we couldn't beat Rock on it, but then 2, we had a lot of issues with just not sticking to the plan, like not following through with it. Like I just mentioned, like I feel like, you know, the game plan was we leave the 2 ARs if they're playing out and stack the site, or we bang the site and force the 2 ARs to like check it late. But what would happen was our timings were just off every time. We'd like, one person would chow into the site and the other person wouldn't follow up, or like one person would think that we're going for the P2 players and everyone else was banging the site. Like we were just off coordination wise, and it would just kill us. Like we'd lose a round that we probably should have won, or we'd choke a 4v3 or 4v2. And we just end up losing that map so much. Like against Rocker, we were 5-1 up, I think. We end up losing it at LAN for top 6.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like unacceptable losses, really. So that was the story of Volt. Just like, yeah, just unacceptable losses and not really sticking to the plan. And then I'll just give Rocker their props. They were just better than us on that map.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like Axe used to say, you gotta execute like the game plan on game day. You gotta have the GP on GD.
Yeah.
He was very,
Does
very
he
big
say
on
that publicly?
Yeah, he actually said that. But he used to say that in Vanguard, I think, like with AG and all that stuff. Gotta execute the game plan on game day.
Exactly. Lamar said it best.
And I'm actually like curious, like on like that whole like A retake. Did you guys have a plan? Because like a lot of people, like FaZe, for example, whenever they'd plan A on offense, they'd have like a guy on P2, obviously around the P2 area, like on the hedges with an AR, but the other AR would be over by like ammo on like the P2 street.
Exactly.
Did you guys have like a plan like for that guy, or was like the main plan just to get the hedges guy, and then if that guy comes, that guy could do like whatever he wants?
Well, for the most part, you kind of just leave him and you make the read afterwards. But like, I remember we played Boston and Cammy kept being that guy, but we noticed that he always flanked. So like he'd always try and flank the double doors and repinch A. So we just had like, whenever we took the site and like got onto the bomb, we just had a guy staring at the double doors waiting for Camry to flank it, because that was his preferred way of trying to break in. But like it's just situational with like the information that you get. But usually you just leave the ammo guy. And just take the site. Like
there's only like 2 ways he could come from too. You either come from the hall or like the whole. But yeah, I mean, that's Black Ops 6. Now we're going into Black Ops 7. So this is part 2. So we recorded it later, and by the time this is recorded, your new roster has been announced. Beans Afro, who had I mean, I'm not sure. I would say like top 3 year in challengers last year. Like I actually thought he was like an MVP. Like I actually thought he was an MVP, and he was in EU too, where you don't have as good practice, but still going on LAN and running worlds on NA and like being an individual monster. So he definitely earned his place back. And then you got the Omit duo of Reese Vivid and Macklin Melts back again on Cloud9. So, tell me about the roster, I guess.
I mean, what do you want to know? Yeah, I mean, that's the team.
I mean, like you can't really go like deep in on it, how it torn, but like how do you feel, I guess, about the team, like your expectations going into this year?
I mean, I can kind of talk about like forming it and what the like idea, I guess, kind
Yes.
of is, and um, like top level. I mean, it makes to me like the roster makes sense on paper in terms of what we tried to achieve. This year is the closest year that we've ever seen in terms of game to game. Like usually we're switching between Treyarch and Infinity Ward, but this time we have straight back to back,
I can
and
agree.
it's Black Ops 6 straight to Black Ops 7. The game is the exact same. It feels like with like the wall bounce movement, right?
Yes.
So you can take a lot of like last year's the way last year evolved and the way last year felt and use that as your like base for what you probably should be looking for in terms of rosters. And to me, that is a team that has a lot of pace on the map and a team that has a lot of flexibility in the ability of like the situations that we're going to fall into. So I want to be able to kind of accomplish those things with the team. A team that's, yeah, like I said, just has a lot of pace and has a lot of like players that can make the right play in the right moments. And I guess that's really just like the formation of the roster, like where that makes sense and where they all fit into play. Um, yeah, and yeah, I mean, where else do we go from there? Really, what was the other question that you asked? Sorry.
Actually, I don't think I had another follow up on that, but I mean, you could plead like the fifth on like this one. It isn't a bad question or anything, but um is it a year where there's an individual player like you're trying to grow? Is it like a Joe year? Actually, I guess like they're all like more experienced. There's not really like much of that. Is it like a best of the rest year, or is it more like a Cloud9 year where you think you could uh do something more up on the higher end of the league?
So it's like, um, this was like one of the questions I answered on the um on like the Discord, like ask me anything kind of
Yeah.
time slot. And the best way that I can kind of describe it is to um to everyone in the world, to my players, to the team, to me when I'm working with the team, the sky is the absolute limit. And like pardon the pun on like Cloud9 sky type of thing, but like the sky is the limit with the team. Um, it's so dumb of me to like try and put a limit on what I think we can be before we've even played the game. Um, so it's really just like letting, like just diving into practice with the right, um, like with the right work ethic, mindset, attitude, and the right pieces, and hopefully I can help the guys form those right pieces and right play styles, um, so that we can like try and be as best as we possibly can be and compete on every front.
Yeah.
Um, so it'd be so dumb of me to like try and limit that. So I won't. And every single year, like I'll just say like every single year, no matter what tier lists come out or what people think about rosters and stuff, like there's always teams that don't do what you expect them to do, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody would have expected Optic to go 0-15. Nobody would have expected Surge to make 5 finals in a row. Nobody would have expected Miami to be like super consistent and dominant in certain periods as well. Like COD is always like everyone acts like you know what's gonna happen, but there's always these things that change and things go differently. So like I'm not gonna be here and be like, why can't we be the one that just does something different to what everyone else thinks? But then also like I also have to set realistic expectations with myself and with upper management to like where do we expect this team to be and where do we expect us to be competition wise.
Yeah.
Those stuff like I won't share, right? Like that's just for me to
Of course.
like manage those expectations with. I guess like one hat is almost like a GM style hat where it's like this is where we expect the team to be, and then the other hat is like we're working with the team every single day and it's I want to absolutely push these guys to to their limits in terms of where we can go, and leave them with no ceiling. Let's just absolutely smash straight through it, and if anything, I want no ceiling, but I just want to like rise the floor. So, yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
Is there any difference now now that you're remote? Because now you're a remote head coach. Before you were a remote analyst, a remote assistant. But what is the feeling about being a remote head coach? And I guess I'll also add in my closing question: any anxieties, expectations, feelings, your personal feelings going into this year now as like the main guy now behind Cloud9?
I wouldn't really say anxieties and stuff. Um, I feel like that's like imposter syndrome. Like if you're in a position, you have to feel like you've deserved it, and I feel like I have.
100%.
So just work as hard as I can, really, and I don't really see like that much of a difference either with like head coach and assistant coach, or even just like even an analyst. Like your coaching staff are usually going to be aligned, and it's the head coach that just takes the responsibility on those decisions whenever there's either like clashes or just in general is just going to take the responsibility. But like your head coach is probably good enough to be in line with your coaching staff, especially before making any major decisions. So I don't really see like the differences there. It is obviously going to be a challenge, but it won't be too dissimilar from challenges I've already faced. And yeah, I mean, what's life without some challenges and just working through them really as best as you can. And I'm sure that we'll manage to figure out the right solution with the information that we have at the time. I guess the last thing that I'll also say is about the roster. You asked the question about like, is there anyone that we're trying to grow and develop? And the answer is really like no one specific. I feel like this team is a real gritty team. Like all four of them are probably coming to this year like with a pure chip on their shoulder. You have like Marcus, like Afro, who's been in challenges for way too long, in my opinion. Like
he's like,
if he was North American, he would have been in the league way sooner, or back in the league way sooner.
Mm-hmm.
He's been like too dominant for ages.
Yeah.
And his playstyle's so good. Like he unfortunately wasn't in the league for a few years, and now I feel like he's more than served his time and should be back.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad that we're able to give him that opportunity to showcase his skills again. And
yeah, it was a great pickup.
That's probably the one person across the board that I'm like the most excited for, because he hasn't had the like years in the league that the other players have, like consistent like over the past few years. So I'm just excited to see him back in the league. And then you have like Beans, who obviously came off his Ultra year, and like I think he started the year really good, and I think Ultra started the year really good, and he definitely has a chip on his shoulder for how that year ended, for himself, and yeah, hopefully we can just take that chip and turn it into wins. And then you have the Omid duo of Mac and Reese, where like Mac worked with him in the previous season, and we obviously let him go. He ends up going into challenges and doing what Mac does. Like Mac is for anyone who can doubt Mac. Like I'm pretty sure this is a correct stat. But Mac is just too good for challenges, and he's too good for this league. Like he just needs to be in this league and needs to show that he's like the superstar that he is. He's so smart, so good. The impact that he has on the map, his communication, his understanding. Like I just have good things to say about him consistently. Like Mac in challenges, just dominates it. So I don't understand how anyone can even make an argument that he shouldn't be in the league when he's too good for challenges, in my opinion. And then Reese is like someone who just permanently has this chip on his shoulder, I feel like, for the right reasons, where he's on teams, starts the year right, unfortunately seems to get dropped, and then the teams regress, but he's like the one piece that is always like the same thing. So Reese just like has the chip of just consistently proving that he deserves to be in the league and can push for wins and push for competitive teams. I mean, like that Royal Ravens team started off really good when they had him, and yeah, I mean, my goal is again, I kind of mentioned it. Like, I just want to make sure that these players are confident in their abilities at all times. They mesh well together. They understand each other at all times. We're playing the right way, but we're also giving them the flexibility to go and make plays, to go and show out, to go and do the things that they've been picked up to go and do. Like every single one of them can make game-winning plays at any moment, and they're just a gritty team. They're incredibly smart. Some of the hardest grinders in the game, like period, across the league, and I have no doubt that like we'll figure it out as the year goes on.
Yeah, it's a crossroad for me, and you don't have to like reply to this at all, by the way. Like just from a player to player perspective and everything, like Afro, Reese, and Mac have been through, like I really want like the best for them. Like I really want, especially Reese. Like I've loved Reese ever since like Cold War, honestly, even like MW 2019. And yeah, he just got done dirty so many times. I always I really wanted the best for him, and also Mac as well. And then Afro like went back down to challengers, proved like I shouldn't fucking be down here with these scrubs. Like I should be in like the main shit. Like I'm too good for this shit. And he's doing from EU, which is even more tippable to me, because like you have to think like EU challengers aren't scrimming any pro teams. Like there's no opportunity for them to scrim any pro teams at all. At least NA challengers, like they will get the odd pro team here and there.
That's a little bit of a myth though. Like they won't. Like
yeah,
pro teams scrim challenger teams in NA at the start of the game.
Yeah.
And one thing that like so if we're ever in the middle of a stage and there's a game update, that then means that the pros won't scrim challenges, because we're then playing
like two different games.
We're playing the old update, they're playing the new one, so we will never scrim them. And then the like stage ends, we get updated, and we'll probably scrim a challengers team like that first week, and then like skip. But usually once like an update happens and you're in that cycle, I feel like whenever we get updated back to what the challenger teams are playing on, they get updated like the next day onto something completely different. So it like has this cycle of you can never play challenger teams.
Yeah.
And it makes it a little bit hard to practice, honestly, because sometimes you just want that third set or that fourth, like an S&D scrim against a challenger's team, and sometimes it's hard to get, especially if the guns are different. They do like gun changes, it makes it so hard to scrim challenger teams, because you just can't take it as serious because the guns are completely different.
I'm very interested to see how the SMG dynamic works. Like I think Mac and Afro are gonna be dogs, but like I said, don't even reply to this. All comes down to the ARs for me. If like the ARs could find some synergy, or like this team could actually, like it actually could be, but it's like I have a hard time even like with LAT on like certain things they're doing last year. Like I just like have really lost hope for like people in like certain scenarios of like the game. And because dude, like freaking like Atlanta FaZe, oh my god. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We actually covered a lot. And I mean,
we did.
For everybody listening, like he is a real life example of doing the hard yards, doing the hard work, going out of your way to do stuff, and actually getting to places. Like if you just like really hone whatever like your craft is and put yourself out there, take some risks, anything, you could achieve anything, honestly.
I mean, if you just put in the work and you really believe in something that you want to do, obviously you need to try and have some knowledge in the space in the first place. But just push away at it and learn off people is probably my number one thing. Like, I think people have like, the worst thing you could be is thinking that you're like the finished article and thinking that you can dive into a place because you deserve it, or you can jump in and do something better than other people. It could be true. Maybe you can do it better than them, but you're just naive if you're not trying to learn off them. At the end of the day, like, there's things to take from everyone, good and bad, and yeah, just try and learn off as many people as you can, and try to have those conversations with as many people as you can, and just be a good person. Really, that's like tip number 3. Just be a good person. It takes you far.
Yeah, I definitely need to learn that one for sure.
Yeah, don't start beef with random players, shitting on random players, especially when they watch your gameplay and it's not good.
That's not right. That's not right at all. That's not right at all. That was like probably like the one gameplay I just like uploaded where I literally didn't give a flying fuck. They could have watched anything else, but they just like somehow chose like the right one to watch. And I think it was like the only one. I just realized this because after they're going through my stuff, every good gameplay I had was actually for my YouTube members only, and that was like the one gameplay that was like public. I was like, how is that the only one I had public? That's ridiculous. But yeah, thank you.
No, thank you, man.
Maybe we'll have another conversation as the season's going on. Who knows? But this time I actually do have an inspirational quote from Winston Churchill. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts.
Oh yeah. I've got one too, actually.
Okay.
Similar. It's from my goat, Drake.
My favorite.
Never let success get to your head, and never let failure get to your heart.
Wow, I actually never heard him say it. He's my goat. What the heck?
I don't know if he said that or not, but I'll take it.
That is absolutely beautiful. He is Arian. This has been Burrito Talk.
Thank you.
I mean, and all that stuff to be said. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy Black Ops 7 coming out. I will be around. The Analyst will be around. We will be watching. Taking down the green wall this year. This has been Burrito. Bada boom, bada bye. We'll see you next time. Peace.